What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Season Gaming Bitcast, episode 219. I'm your host, Ainsley Bowden, and we have the full panel back again. Dan tried to get away from us, but I told him there's a possibility many years from now that another Hitman game would be made, and he came running back. He was ready to talk about it. So
that was it.
We've got a lot to talk about today. Sorry for the people live in the chat. Travis doesn't know how technology works, so it's completely on him. You can yell at him in the chat. But anyway, Mr. Rodriguez, how you doing, man? How was your trip to Chicago?
It was good. It was all right. It was full of good food for the most part, except for that TGI Fridays. That was more for my wife.
Chicago delicacy.
Yeah, it is. It's like a high-end Applebee's, which isn't really high-end. We spent about $130 there to feed about 6 people because I didn't eat it because I refuse. It was, they brought the food out.
Too many details, my friend. Too many details.
I wanted to ask Dan if he got Super Dog, which is my favorite part of Chicagoland.
I didn't get to get over there because
everything
got. I ended up getting the Wiener Circle, which is fantastic because they just cuss at you the entire time. Which is place. It's a good time. I had Portillo's about 3 times. He had Giordano's because it was convenient over Lou's, but it was still really good. It was a good time. I got a cool, hat. That's about all I got. I leave tomorrow, and we're going to Vail. Never been there. I don't ski or do anything physical, so we're gonna see how that goes. Should be fun or really, really boring. And it's supposed to rain literally every day we're there. So
wow,
man, I demand a Dan vacation slideshow opening 10 minutes after anytime he goes anywhere. We should just get pictures of you in Portillo's
doing this.
Here's Portillo's visit 1. Here's Portillo's visit number 2. Like it would be great.
Yeah,
people would love it.
Me smile. I mean, me and like this giant baby of a beef sandwich. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Nothing wrong with that.
No. Good to be back.
Nice. And you know him well, the host of Virtual Legality and the ever popular and rapidly growing Lawyers and Dragons, my friends. Good morning, Mr. Hogue.
Hey, good morning, Aim. Good morning, panel. I'm excited about being here this Sunday. And yeah, Lawyers and Dragons was a lot of fun yesterday. We're really having a lot of fun with it. And as I promised like 2 months ago, we have sales tax licenses, we have setup, we have buttons pressed, wires tied together. We actually launched the store with a complete redo by co-counsel, my lovely wife. And it's awesome, including this hat. So it was a fun day yesterday as we tried to desperately fix things that were slightly broken. Whenever you launch an e-commerce commercial endeavor, it's like, oh, okay, that's not going to the right place. And then so that was a lot of fun while also watching my Michigan Wolverines decimate another high school team.
They reduced them by 1/10?
Yes, they reduced them by 1/10. I was using actually the Roman generals' use of the term decimate.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Their morality is forever shaken at this point. Yeah.
It's true. It was UConn, man.
They lined them up and they killed every 10th man on the football team.
At some point, I think
UConn was no different.
I would watch football if that's how it worked. If you lose, you have to go through the process of Roman decimation. Yeah, that would be fantastic.
And the reason we are late today, but we still love him anyway. Mr. Tie Guy Travis, what's happening, man?
Man, this is not my fault. You guys need to understand what's been happening at the Travis household lately, which is somebody on the IGN team went through a enormous personal tragedy who was supposed to be covering the Tokyo Game Show, and I was supposed to get the week off, but instead it became, Travis, why don't you just cover the Tokyo Game Show the whole week? And I was like, sweet. And so I've been running around trying to produce all this content and sub for all the stuff that I didn't think I was going to have to do, and it's been chaos. And one of the casualties of that is that my audio situation. I own a ton of audio equipment, and it's very. I've gone through great lengths to set it up perfectly, and I had to unplug a lot of it and reset a lot of it up last night. And I thought it was working, but it's really hard to test audio quality on something like StreamYard, and StreamYard sucks. And none of my tech worked. And I'm using Firefox right now to make this work. I just want to put that out there. These are the depths that I've had to sink to, y'all, to get this stream to work.
So you're a man blaming his tools, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm
the
never
two
going to get on
guys-
anybody for tech issues ever. Every time, every single live stream, 5 minutes before, it's like,
Yep.
Yeah. Also, my computer does this thing where suddenly it decides it's draining too much power, right? Like it's got too much stuff plugged into it. So I currently have 3 chargers plugging in my computer to give it as much power as it needs to run the show. So yeah, it's
This is the
chaos
clip
here in
that'll be
Travis
used
household.
for man dies in horrible San Francisco fire.
I hope so. I hope so. That honestly put me out of my misery at this point. This is chaos. So anyway, McClunky, I'm glad to be here,
Uplift.
guys.
Yes,
Super excited.
Positivity this morning.
I love the change from a man whose Wolverines just killed 1/10 of a college team on
state of
live
Connecticut,
television. They murdered them, and then me having to cover
And
a
then
Tokyo
me.
game show.
Oh, I'm in
duality
great
of
spirits.
man.
I'm in great spirits, but yeah, no, that sounds rough. And that's weird times for you to cover Tokyo, right?
Yes, it was. My embargoes were like at 10 p.m. every day.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, normally you're like, I've got to get this done at some point today with the video team so it can go live tomorrow. But this one was like, guys, it has to go live tonight. And so I had like no room for error. It was like, you have to get your draft in by like noon, and then we need to work on it and get like the video edited, and it has to be live at 10. And then I was just like, dude, this sucks. Those extra hours. Because I do most of my work in between the hours of like 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. That's when I get my IGN work done. So I wasn't able to do that this time. Anyway. Fun.
Well, yeah, TGS is going on. We have an awful lot to cover this week. It's like a ton of stuff happened Monday, which feels like a month ago at this point with how much is going on. But so we've got Tokyo Game Show. We had PlayStation State of Play. We had a Nintendo Direct.
Same day. How wild was that?
Same day. We had Call of Duty Next, which was the whole Call of Duty thing. We had the RGG presentation, which Dan lost his S for. We had what else did we've got more PlayStation and Xbox with Call of Duty debates. We've got
we got them freaking launching attacks at each other.
My God.
We're like DEFCON 3 here.
Yeah, so there's an awful lot to go on. Obviously, in a 2-ish hour podcast, we're not going to be able to cover every aspect, but we're going to go through as much of that as we can. Just before we get started, I wanted to give a shout out to everyone supporting us on the audio channels. Like I said, we went over 100 reviews on Spotify, so thank you very much. If you're on Apple as well, you can hit us up there, but it's greatly appreciated. And chat, good to see you this morning. Excited to talk all this game news with you.
We thank you even for the hateful ones. We see you. We see you.
Yeah, we luckily don't get too many, shockingly. There are a few that come through, though, that have a problem with us for some reason.
All directed at me.
Dude, I got hate mail this week. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah. But why don't we start what we're currently playing? Because there's a couple things, even beyond just the games we're currently playing, which we'll, of course, touch on. Is I figure we can kind of touch on some of the things from Tokyo Game Show here. There is a demo of Wolong Fallen Dynasty, which is one of the Team Ninja games coming out. So that demo's up, and I've tried that. And we also, I'm kind of mixing things together here because, like I said, there's a lot to talk about, so bear with me. But also,
let's be loosey-goosey. Let's just enjoy gaming, man. Gaming's a fun pastime.
There you go. So Cyberpunk Edgerunners came out this week too.
Yeah, that's what I'm playing.
Which is obviously the tie-in to Cyberpunk 2077, and it's gotten pretty rave reviews, including from the guy who reviewed it for us. But it's like a 98 or 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, and people seem to love it. So, anyway, Ho's giving me the look already. But
no, it's fine. I think our expectations have been lowered with horrible video game things. But no, it's fine. It's fine.
Let it go.
Right. Are we singing? I picked Moana.
Believe me, you don't want me or you singing on this podcast, I don't think. So let me start with this. I'll start with, is anyone else playing it? Otherwise, I can just touch on it real quick. The Modern Warfare 2 beta on PlayStation 5.
It's closed, right, Ains?
It is closed.
I'm not as cool as you, man.
All you had to do was pre-order. It's not like I had special access or anything. But
yeah, I didn't do that either.
Okay, so I'll touch on it real quick. So Modern Warfare 2 beta is up on PlayStation side this weekend. It's their exclusive weekend, which is funny given what we're going to get to shortly. But open beta next weekend on Xbox and other platforms. And I will say that I've said many times on the show, I am not a big Call of Duty guy. You know, I used to be. I feel like I'm past that phase, primarily because the mechanics just don't. Personally, for me, they're not my thing anymore. The whole kind of twitch shooting, point shoot die, insta
That
respawn.
TTK, bro.
Yeah, and the TTK in this, which is you've probably seen if you followed the gaming community at all, is insanely high, or fast, I should say, is a better word.
Okay, I thought the opposite when you said it was high.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
So it is like it's to the point where people are shooting before they come around corners. You know, they're like aiming at a certain spot and walking around corners already firing because on the other side of the screen you are dead before you can even see what's around the corner.
That's how the real military does it. They just find a corner and
they just start shooting, you know, and hope something's there coming.
That's how I do it in real life, man. You gotta do it.
That's how he walks around San Francisco.
So it that bothers me a little bit, but I think, like, you know, I don't really have any big issue with the maps they have in there. It looks pretty good. The sound design is really, really strong. It's very kind of punchy and intense, you know, if you're into that kind of cinematic experience. It's well done. The haptics on the PS5 are good too. It runs smoothly. So really no big issues if you like Call of Duty, but it's very Call of Duty, if that makes sense. So if you like Call of Duty multiplayer, generally speaking, and you like the modern aesthetic versus World War II or futuristic, I think you're going to really like this. But for me personally, it was almost a perfect reminder of why I don't play Call of Duty anymore. It's just not the game for me. So that is what it is. I am hugely excited, though, about what they showed at Call of Duty Next and Warzone, which we'll get to a little later. But yeah, so anyone else in the chat or anyone else playing Call of Duty, let me know what you think, and I'll call it out. But I will
Sounds
move
like
on.
It's going to make a fortune based on that description.
Oh, it's going to make billions of dollars. Yeah. When we'll talk about Call of Duty Next shortly, but between Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, which looks insane, and the new mobile, they're going to make, yeah, it's going to be nuts. Anyway, so what else you guys been playing, man? I've got a few other things to talk about as well, but let's jump over to you. Give me something.
Travis is playing Grounded.
You knew this.
Grounded's a good game.
I followed. See, Travis, you know, joined me on my Xbox. So I actually don't even play games anymore. I just turn the Xbox on and wait.
To see what I'm playing.
Yeah, just for it to ding on. And
I am playing Grounded. I'm actually not playing a version of Grounded that is publicly available.
I also figured.
I'm playing the 1.0 version of Grounded that is going to come out in over a week for its official debut.
Yeah.
And if you haven't guessed, I am reviewing Grounded for IGN.
I actually couldn't tell that. I figured you'd have to use a number of people to like check on some of the multiplayer aspects, so I didn't know if it was you or not.
Yeah, so I'm doing that. I'm rolling with a crew of people that have agreed to play that game with me. I'm probably about 50 hours into the game right now, which, like, it is a survival game, but it also has a story. So it's kind of a lot of pressure to get through the game quickly, because if you've ever played like a Minecraft survival mode campaign, like there's a lot of like work involved. Like you have to like build a base and collect resources and figure out how stuff works.
Yeah.
And so I am very impressed by this game so far, because I played it 2 years ago and it was like, all right, this is like the bones of a survival game with no story. And I was just like, all right, I feel like I played games like this all the time, like Ark or what have you. And I've not been like super impressed by those games.
They've done a lot with it over the past 2 years, though.
Ark. Okay, I don't want to hate on Ark because Ark is super cool, but there's a certain amount of like directionless feeling to those games where it's sort of like, you know, you make your own fun and they're kind of like fun sandboxes, but you can't expect things like story or primary objectives that you need to be following and that sort of stuff. And
but your boy Vin Diesel's in Ark 2, man.
I know. I mean Ark 2 I'm all the way down on because of my boy. I'm very impressed with it so far. So I'll have more thoughts after I've completed the campaign and played even more of this game. But I've played a ton over the weekend so far, and it's great. I've also played a lot of Capcom games. I covered all of Capcom's coverage for Tokyo Game Show. So I have played Street Fighter 6 with the new characters that were announced this week. Which is
can you expand upon that a little bit?
Oh my God, I can. Yeah, I can talk about it. It's the embargo's up. That game is butter smooth. It's like it's so good. I mean, I dabble in fighting games. I wouldn't consider myself like the guy who was supposed to cover it was Mitchell Saltzman, and he's like a god when it comes to this stuff. But Just as a guy who dabbles in fighting games, considers himself pretty good at Mortal Kombat. I was very impressed by how smooth and how approachable the game was. I only had like 30 minutes with it and the new characters, and was very much impressed by it. So that game is super cool. I also played the new Resident Evil Village expansion, which is called Shadows of Rose, and it's interesting. It's third person. It sort of feels like Resident Evil 2 a little bit. I think they were trying to go for like an older school vibe, much more survival horror than recent Resident Evil games. So that was pretty interesting. How
does it compare to 6 though?
It's kind of curious. I mean, it's not literally an unplayable game, so yeah, it's pretty good compared to that.
Village is the TGI Fridays of the Resident Evil series.
So it's delightful. I'm just kidding. I've never even been in a TGI Friday. So
it costs a bunch of money and it doesn't satisfy you when it's over.
Wow.
Let's not move on with that phrase.
Yeah. I was about to make a joke that I had to bite my tongue on. Okay. What? Looks like what? I didn't leave you open for anything.
I'm not tossing you softballs here, Travis.
Man.
Why do you keep doing this, bro? Phrasing. All right. So I played a lot of different games this week. Probably forgetting a few, but it's been super cool.
That's awesome.
To play a bunch of games this week. Most of them that aren't out. But yeah, Grounded is awesome. I'm excited to play.
It would have been awesome if you got to, obviously, if this was planned well in advance, if you got to go to TGS and cover it there.
That would have also been cool. I found out I was going to be covering TGS the night before.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Not enough time to get to the Land of the Rising Sun, but I have been to TGS twice, 2 or 3 times for coverage in past years, and it is a super cool show. Very underrated. There are like some serious announcements that happens there. I just think they don't make as much of a splash here in the West usually, but the show in general was really cool this year, and it was really awesome to be a part of it. And even though it was stressful as heck, so
gotcha.
It's always one of my favorites, but I lean Japanese games, so
you do.
Yeah, it's a big part of obviously, I mean, goes without saying, big part of what's been shown. And we got some big announcements that were kind of mixed between Tokyo Game Show. You've got Xbox doing TGS, and you had the State of Play. And then RGG, obviously the kind of Yakuza studio, had their little own presentation showing off 4 games. There were a ton
of presentations this week. It was almost like an E3 week.
It was nuts. I will quickly mention, just to add to currently playing, that I am playing Deathloop on Xbox.
I'm sorry.
Stop it. I was waiting for you, Hogue.
All I said was I'm sorry.
It's actually funny because I was playing it again and I can't talk in detail about it. I can just say I'm playing it.
That's weird.
No, there's an embargo on it.
Wait a minute. I'm curious about what's embargoed.
The entire thing is embargoed.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Why?
I could go back to Bethesda and ask them for the reasoning if you want, but I didn't. I just said thank you, and I'm playing the game. They said I can say that I'm playing it, but nothing review-wise or details until.
All right, well, Ains, why don't you tell us what you thought about the PS5 version?
Yeah, I actually reviewed the PS5 version, so I can
go ahead and tell us about that, and then add on that you're playing Xbox at the end of it. Maybe that will be, embargo legal.
Never change, corporates.
It's crazy. That's a crazy rule. Anyway,
it is weird. I asked because it was in the, how it goes, Travis. It was in the email, right? Embargo, and I'm like, well, okay, what can I say then? And it's just like that you're playing it, and that's it. Okay.
New playable character, Master Chief, on the Game Pass version. Also, Phil Spencer is one of the assassons.
That would be actually pretty cool. But it's funny, Hogue, because I know that you weren't a big fan of Deathloop, and I reviewed it previously, and I loved it. And I'm playing it again now, and I find myself getting back into it and really, really loving it. So just remind me, if you will, what you didn't like about it, because I'm curious. I forgot.
Oh, Deathloop?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I think, God, this is things I've put out of my head. The Deathloop areas are small. The game doesn't use its conceit, which I think is well designed. I think the way I usually describe Deathloop is they solved the problem that they had with what they were putting together as a concept and then didn't have enough time to make it interesting with the actual mechanisms that they had used to solve that. So the world feels like it's a concept artist and an asset guy that got together and just sprinkled random crap all over the place. It doesn't have the kind of depth that it implies that it has when you start the game. And overall, about halfway through, you feel like you're wasting your time and you reflect on why you have gaming as a hobby at all.
So like an 8.
I'd have it at like a 6. I mean, here's the thing, right? Moon Crash is Deathloop, and Moon Crash is better. So what do you do with Deathloop? Moon Crash is better realized. It has more design elements. It's a smarter.
You're not going to get arguments from me. I adore Prey and Moon Crash.
Yeah, Moon Crash is one of the best DLCs ever, and Deathloop is clearly like, hey, Moon Crash. We'll try it. We'll try it again. It wasn't impressive to me. The AI was terrible. I heard that they improved that, but it was certainly terrible when I played it.
Did you finish the game, Hogue?
Yeah, I finished the game.
Yeah,
Why?
I don't know. So
just out of curiosity, Travis, why would that change?
I was just wondering.
Yeah, no, I think that, I mean, one of the issues I had was I think that the end, like the concept of the end, needed a more snap, crackle, pop. It's very anticlimactic, I think, to finish Deathloop. And after you put in that much work and time, I didn't enjoy it.
Fair enough.
But I also didn't enjoy the characterizations. I didn't enjoy anything about Deathloop.
That's interesting. I won't say I'm completely opposite, but I'm pretty far on the opposite end of the spectrum.
Different strokes, folks.
Of course, it's fine. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. But no, I really enjoy it. So I'll talk more about it next week, just in case there are any significant differences that I can actually speak to. Yeah, but like I said, it is embargoed. The one question I did ask, though, and I don't have an answer currently, is it looks. Well, no, I can't even say that. Jesus, God. Well, I've asked Bethesda if it's using FSR, the Fidelity FX Super Resolution, which AMD now has available on Xbox platforms, because the PC version of Deathloop was the first game to show off their FSR 2.0. So I'm curious. It has. Can't say that either. Jesus.
It's just.
We'll talk more about it next week.
There's a new enemy. I saw that. So I'm not reviewing it. I have no idea what's going on. They have a new enemy type. That's all I saw about it.
Cool.
They throw paint. So there you go. There's your spoilers.
Okay. Dan.
So Splatfest?
Yeah.
Splatfest.
Yeah, it's Splatoon indefinitely.
So anyway, I will say this. If you didn't play the game on PS5, it obviously is coming to Game Pass this week.
On Game Pass, go nuts.
Yeah, and play it, enjoy it, and see what you think. We'll talk more about it next week. All right. Edgerunners. Did anyone watch Edgerunners, the Cyberpunk anime? You watched it? Did you watch the whole series?
No, I'm about halfway through.
Okay. I've only watched one episode. Zach at Season Gaming watched the whole thing, reviewed it for us. He gave it an 8.5. And I saw that I think IGN gave it a 9. I think that some other sites, it's pretty highly regarded. So it sounded like you weren't as high on it, Hogue. Where are you at with it?
Well, I'm not an avid anime watcher. I will say that, like, in terms of like these projects, when I think of like what deserves highest praise, it's not anywhere near Arcane. It's not anywhere near Arcane. Yeah, Arcane's the name. I'm so confused now because like Deathloop. Arcane makes Deathloop. No, it's Arcane is the show. I'm there. It's not anywhere near what Arcane put together, which I thought was well deserving of all the high levels of praise that people gave it. Okay. I think it is competent, and I think that people don't expect that. When you talk about a Netflix anime show that's, based on a brand that's a little bit
or
dirty.
Cyberpunk.
Yeah, exactly. Or Cyberpunk. And I think in the very first episode, Angie, you could probably tell it's like, oh, it's more interested in telling a character story than just action scenes. And that's nice. Yeah. You're thinking it's going to be, it's whatever. It's going to be sexy Matrix shots and dubstep and it's whatever. And it's like, yeah, it's got that. And it's got like way too much gratuitous anime nudity. And I don't know who that does anything for, but it is
playlist.
Did you answer with both?
Yeah. Have you seen the average anime fan? Like it's a combination of thirst for flesh, thirst for violence. It's about quenching your thirst. That's what anime is all about.
Well, they like
got a clip of the week already. 25 minutes in.
Throw it in there. Hey, I watch a lot of anime. And my fiance is really into anime, and I can tell you the things she's looking for: a little bit of nudity, a little bit of violence. Call it a day. That's what she's
We've
in it
learned a
for.
lot about the Travis household today,
Oh,
haven't we,
Hogue,
folks?
here's the thing.
Um,
I'm exposed to a lot of anime. Did you know that there's an anime, and I'm sorry, guys, I cannot remember the name, but it is a sports anime wherein it's a competition where you have to knock somebody off of a platform. It's like a two-person competitive fictional sporting event,
Okay.
but you can only use your butt or your boobs to do so. That is the entire premise of the anime.
Is that where the naked HD link takes us to?
That's yeah,
That's
they're the people
remaster,
promoting it.
HD.
Anyway, my point is anime is crazy, and go on. Sorry for the interruption.
No, not at all. Not at all. So I don't think that adds much to anything, but it does have character.
Greg
beats.
G, thank you, Kaijo. Thank you.
I think it's pretty obvious, where it's going from the start. It's not trying to hide balls, as it were. And so I think I think it's fine. 8. I don't know how it ends. Like I've seen about 4 or 5. 8 would surprise me, but it's a 7. Whereas Arcane is like close to a 10. It's like a 9 or something like that.
Okay. So, all right. Yep. So I think people generally liking it.
Yeah, I think it's likable.
Yeah, there's people in the chat saying it's good. I have heard the same, that it's character-based story and the arc of the characters is really good. So I'm not a big anime guy, so I struggle. I did like The Witcher 1 because it's Trigger Studio that did The Witcher 1, and now this one with CD Projekt Red for Netflix. And I actually enjoyed The Witcher 1 quite a bit, so I'm going to try to push forward on this one and see how.
But there's some cool stuff. They use some of the main theme, like the music. Like there's a lot of stuff that actually links like directly to the game in a way that's kind of palatable. The apartment looks the same as your first apartment. Like there's the choices that they made where it's like this is straight from the game, where you often have like a little bit of a disconnect, and that's at least somewhat cool.
Does it take place in the Cyberpunk Red kind of universe, the one that's in the game, the 2077?
Yeah, I mean it connects to the game directly.
Yeah, it does. And in the game, with that release we talked about last week, when this came out on Netflix, they also released stuff from Edgerunners into the game. So now you can get the Edgerunners like outfits. You can get some new guns. You can.
I need to get back in that game. I still haven't beaten Cyberpunk, man.
Get to it, man. Get to it. All right. I touch on Wolong real quick. So if you didn't see this,
I played that too. That was cool.
Yeah. So if
we're doing demos, I'm bringing in Valkyrie Elysium. I'm just warning you.
That's fine. No worries. Let's do it. So Wolong is Team Ninja. Demo went up this weekend, like I said. Now, if you were paying attention to this when it first launched, because I downloaded it right away and played it, you could get through the tutorial, but as soon as it went to the game portion, the level demo, it would crash, like right away, every time. So they've apparently fixed it. I haven't gone back since, so I've only done the tutorial. So I can't talk much about it, but it's pretty clear from the combat mechanics. They're going for a, Team Ninja / Sekiro approach here, right? They're trying to mix some elements, and it felt pretty good. Character creator's really strong, so I'm excited to play more of it for sure. I don't know, Travis, if you've probably played more than I have.
I played the demo, the whole demo.
Okay.
Yeah, my initial thoughts are it is sort of like weirdly, it kind of reminds me if like Sekiro had a baby with like Dynasty Warriors. It's like it's
something combat, a little more actiony type.
Yeah, it's way more actiony, and it's combat. Dying matters less, I would say. You kind of just sort of like come back and you can get to where you were pretty quickly, and it, it's not as punishing. You don't lose all of your resources for dying. You lose, I think, half of them, and then you can get them back pretty easily. Enemies get stronger when they kill you too, which I think is pretty funny. They like level up, and then you have to go back and try to kill them again and get revenge. And that's the only way to get back your resources that you lost. You have to kill them. I mean, I was playing the fire style, which is like all aggressive. It's all just attacking. So maybe that's the style I chose that made it feel that it was a little bit more kind of hack and slashy.
No,
because I know there
I played it.
Yeah,
I played the stealth thing. Same thing, Travis.
Same thing, just hack and slash. Yeah. So that's kind of what it felt like for me. But I'm interested to see more. I'm interested to see more. The demo was an interesting showcasing. I don't know where it left me to stand, but it also was like a blip in my week. Like it was like, oh, you got 2 hours to play this demo, and then I went back to my life being on fire. So, but I'm it is pretty challenging. I got murdered by those cats so much, man. Those guys were they just attack you like 9 times in a row, which is hilarious. So
Yeah, that's where I stopped. Yeah,
I bet.
I was just
I'm actually shocked that I made it that far. It's not. No, I don't
That's
know
what I
how
was going to
guys
ask you,
play
Dan.
these games.
Is it still too hard for you
I hated
comment?
every second of it. Why do you need 15 different buttons to block and 18 different ones to attack, or combinations of said buttons? Hold R1, press X, or circle, or triangle. Like, listen, I need an attack, I need a heavy attack, I need a dodge, and I need a block. All right, and do whatever you want with those 4 buttons. I don't need 20 different combinations. And I don't understand why these games do that kind of stuff. It's super infuriating because you're doing, I can't remember all this stuff. I can barely remember to put my socks on in the morning. And you want to remember 15 different, summons / magic / parry dodge. I don't know which one's which. You can dodge this, but you can't dodge this, or parry this incoming attack this way, but parry this incoming attack a whole different way. Just let me parry. All right. I can probably get a timing down with that. I can't do it with this game.
I did hear a
I was like, man, this is
response.
gonna be cool.
Did you play on
No.
PS5, Dan? Because
I did.
Fellow IGNer Destin ran through it on PlayStation, and he said that there was input delay, especially when it came to block timing, which was crazy to me. I didn't experience that on Xbox, but apparently people are saying there's a little bit of delay on PlayStation.
I'm going to tell you something right now, Travis. If it's totally 100% me. And if there's an input delay, it's just made it worse. It's just basically.
I was going to say, you just asked Dan if he's recognizing millisecond input delay.
Nope, couldn't tell you because I was dead far before.
Could you recognize input delay if it was on Hitman?
No, probably not. I probably couldn't recognize a whole lot of stuff, actually, just to be honest with you. I'm pretty.
Recognize the face of your father.
I mean, yeah, of course.
Okay, cool. I mean, I'm just doing a nice dementia check for you, man. I just care about your health.
I appreciate it, man.
So someone, I think it was Def Floyd, asked, Travis, did you beat the last boss of the demo?
No, I got to the boss, and then I thought that it would save if I turned it off. I had to go do something else, and turns out you have to beat that entire demo in one shot. There was no save functionality. So when I booted up the game again last night, I was like, "Ah!" But it doesn't really matter. It's like maybe an hour. Now that I know what to do, I'll probably just rush through it and get to the final boss again. But yeah, the final boss is cool. I didn't really get to fight him, but I'm excited to get through it in the demo.
Cool.
Demos are cool.
Demos
all right,
cool.
Hogue.
Tell us about your demo, Hogue.
Thanks for bringing them back. Well, Valkyrie Elysium, not Valkyria. That's a different series. Valkyrie Elysium had a demo that released as well. I think got a TGS. I actually wasn't following it closely enough, but I assume. It's significantly smoother and better than I had thought it would be based on just the trailers. Square Enix not great at trailers, folks. I mean,
the funny thing, Hogue, I was having trouble picturing this game, and then Valkyrie Elysium, I was like, it's got to be Square. It's got to be. It's just, I mean, that's one of their titles to it.
It's the Valkyrie Profile series, right?
Okay, yeah.
Valkyrie Profile. And they've done like offshoots, and the series is like a mess in terms of like where things go and in which order, and they just slap words on them. This is like a, I suppose it's a third person melee action adventure type thing. So it's the closest is like a Souls. It is not that, just to be clear. It's things out there on the field, and you hit them with your sword, and you pop them into the air, and you do those kinds of things with the Yar instead being like people that you add to cover multiple folks at once. So you're using ghost fighters to fight other things while you focus on one thing. It's significantly better than I thought it would be. It's exactly the right use of a demo, I would say, because I had dismissed this as whatever, Square. And the demo was like, oh, well, this is kind of fun. It's actually reminds me a little bit of playing the Stranger Paradise demo insofar as it's like, oh, all right, this is super weird, but it's not. It's there's something there. So I mean, like that's all I really wanted to add is it's a demo worth checking out.
It's the
I think
sequel
probably you guys will like it.
Sequel to Disco Elysium, yeah.
Yes, it's all of that. When you get in the Valkyrie's head, she talks to you about her alcoholism. It's quite a different thing.
Now I'm intrigued. You didn't have me
Yeah.
before, but now
Did you guys like Disco Elysium? I really liked that game a lot.
Yes.
Disco Elysium was like my third favorite game of that year.
It was actually the game I was playing on my Steam Deck on the last flight I took. It was awesome.
Nice.
I sat there for like 3 hours straight.
I have a kind of funny story about Disco Elysium, which is that back when I was first starting IGN reviews, I've only been reviewing for IGN for a couple of years, so Disco Elysium was pretty early on, and I was assigned it to review because nobody on the IGN team wanted to review it because they were like, we've never heard of this game, and I started playing it, and I was like, oh my god, this game
I think you told me that before.
This game is amazing, and no one knows it, and then somebody on the team started playing it and they were like, oh my god, this game is amazing.
Didn't they take the review away from you?
They took the review away from me. They paid me what is called a kill fee, which is like they pay you to like not finish the review. And I got a kill fee and I was like, because every game I'd reviewed up until then was like not very good, and I finally got one. I was like, nobody knows this game is amazing. And then they found out it was amazing and they were like, actually we do want to review it. I was like,
I thought you were gonna say it was like your first or your second review and you were turning it in and it was gonna be like a 9. They're like, we don't what in the hell is this guy? We don't even believe you.
My first review for IGN was a game called oh god,
good, huh?
No, it was I gave it a 3. It was it was really, really bad.
Travis's memory is all a series of blackouts where he tries
oh my god, I played through this game 4 times. That's the one I got death threats on.
It's just blackouts and the IGN review scale. That's it.
My first review. Yeah, there's a small club of people who've had to report to the FBI for death threats. I'm on that list, and I got there with my first review. Which, like, you started off with a bang, man. Just started off with a bang.
That's amazing.
So,
yeah.
You know what?
When I considered how to form this final 4 panel, this beautiful panel we have here now, death threat level was.
I remembered it. Decay of Logos. The game was called Decay of Logos. You never forget your first. I got it. All right.
We all had to have death threats in order to make the panel. Is that?
Yeah. I mean, you and Travis were doing good work in that area, so
Dan has received death threats for an unrelated issue. Yeah.
I don't have credible, but I have had people wish me significant harm.
It's mostly from my doctor when he's like, "You really need to stop eating all those damn Funyuns, dude. That's crazy." You're showing up, man.
Hogue for Afropunk says it reminds me a bit of Ease.
Well, Ease and Famcom, I believe it is, in general, is like some of my favorite stuff in terms of lighthearted adventure. Ease is one of my favorite series ever. That would be its ceiling to me, is if it could capture some of that joy of Ease. But it does. I think they're referring to like the battle system, which is kind of light, but has enough going on that you're paying attention to it. Actually, Ease like 9 is actually or 8 is probably a pretty good. It's a pretty good analog. So good job, Chatter. In terms of actual vibes, I don't know.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, it's just a demo at this point, right?
So. It is just a demo, but I think it's just so funny. I would love to be on a fly on the wall because it's like, wow, people aren't really reacting to our trailer and think it looks like garbage. We should probably show people what this game actually plays like. Like that was like the right choice for them. It's like, it's now on my list. I will now buy it actually from this demo.
Good.
And that's the opposite of we put a demo out and everybody's like, oh no.
Oh no.
No.
All right. All right, guys. So let's jump over to a bunch of these main topics. We're gonna start as we did with our thumbnail today with Call of Duty, because we had a couple major things Call of Duty this week, which is Call of Duty Next presentation, which was basically Activision, Infinity Ward, etc., getting together and showing off the future of Call of Duty, which includes the mainline games, Warzone 2.0, and mobile, which I'll get to in a second. But we're going to start with, first of all, the whole thing with PlayStation and Xbox and the continued, interesting stuff there. And Hogue, I know you cover this in depth, so I'm going to let you get to that here briefly. But before we jump into that, 2 things. One, love to see so many people watching us live this morning. Thank you so much. Please hit that like button if you're enjoying the conversation. We greatly appreciate it. And as Hogue always points out, if you like to see more of this type of conversation, liking, subscribing, commenting, it helps. It'll get rid of the garbage in your feed and add good old guys at Bitcast up top, which really helps.
And
Folks,
it will get us
I
more.
think you should hit like just because of how awesome Ains was at soliciting that like. I think we need to encourage him. We get more of what we incentivize, folks. That was fantastic.
I suck at self-promotion, but I'm working on it. And then I've got 2 super chats I want to get to before we get to the main topics as well. So Luke in the house, Xbox expansion pass. $2 super chat says, I'm surprisingly excited for Modern Warfare 2. I don't think you're alone there, Luke. I think that's kind of the sentiment I've seen for a number of people. It feels like this is the Call of Duty that the core, when I say core, because there's like thousands of developers and 8 studios that work on Call of Duty, but like this is their main kind of one. Like Cold War was, if you know the development, that was kind of a mess. Vanguard got pushed up and was kind of a mess in many ways. This is the one that they've been focused on over the past few years. So, like I said at the top, if from what I've played at the beta, if you are a Call of Duty player, you will like this game.
$2 excited though. I mean,
yeah, it's a bit much, Luke. A bit much. And then Gecko Gamer in the house, €5 super chat. How much did COD change since I played the last time? The last time being Ghost. Wow.
Ghost.
Okay, you're back. What? 8 years? 9 years?
I guess he really didn't like Ghost.
Ghost is kind of the modern joke among the Call of Duty community, right? It's the one that gets kind of poked at, as laughed at the most. I would say that it depends what you talk about change, right? There's a lot of systems that play in the new Call of Duty. There's Gunsmith 2.0 in the new one where you build out your weaponry. So there's a lot of kind of intricacies to how the game functions that I think have changed a lot since Ghost. Never mind the presentation, obviously, the sound
Modern
design.
Warfare. I mean, I think it's worth noting that Modern Warfare is in a slightly different branch, the new Modern Warfares, than the Black Ops and the Cold War stuff.
It is.
There's a slight heavierness. There's the mantling and I mean, Modern Warfare as a series is designed to be a little bit like 2% closer to Battlefield and in the Call of Duty universe. So that's the direction they're going. That's why they're moving Warzone into that model. And that's a little different than Ghost and Black Ops. It is. Yeah,
that's very fair. So I would say give it a shot. I mean, there's an open beta next weekend, right, for everyone. So just log in, play it, try it, see what you think. The big discussion I can tell you right now, as I already mentioned, is the time to kill and whether or not that will be tuned prior to full release, but we'll see. And again, some people like the really fast TTK. So
yeah, it's a different kind of game. But it's like the opposite of Halo. I mean, and you love Halo, so I mean, it's like,
yeah, if you're a Halo player like me, these games couldn't be further apart. And the guys that I played this demo with over the weekend, I played with several different people, and the guys who play Halo is like, yeah, no, like it's just a different game. Yeah, different game. So anyway, thank you, gents. Okay, so Call of Duty next, but before we get into Warzone 2.0, which I'm very excited to talk about, and I don't say that sarcastically, I really, really am. Hogue, we know a couple days ago you put up a new episode of Virtual Legality talking about the ongoing craziness with PlayStation and the Call of Duty IP as it relates to the Activision-Blizzard deal.
Oh, drama.
Yeah, drama in the gaming community, and everyone's talking about it. So we might as well.
I straight up don't think this is healthy, honestly. But I lay that at the feet of Sony.
Yeah, so tell us why, because as you well know better than probably anyone, there's a lot of chatter, a lot of nonsense out there about this. So what's going on in reality?
Yeah, so what you're looking at right now is we're in the middle of the regulatory review. We've had some regulators, like we talked about in this space in the UK, say, hey, we're going to look at this further because it could possibly lessen competition, all this good stuff. But for the most part, throughout this last 8-month period, the companies, and I'm using that to refer to Microsoft and Sony, have done what they do, which is they're rivals. They want your money. And if it's going to be between them and you, they want your money over you giving it to the other guy. But they've been genteel about it. You know, boxers in the old suspenders in the 18th century and whatnot. And that has escalated very rapidly over the last 3 weeks with essentially Phil going to The Verge and saying we offered them a deal in January that they poo-pooed. Jim responding with, oh, screw him. He didn't offer me a decent deal. And then this last couple of days, Sony now directly talking to Games Industry Biz in particular twice and escalating things, and really escalated it further with a comment that basically said that this deal is bad for the gaming industry and bad for gamers. with the implied sentence there being, we're going to fight it tooth and nail. And I did a video on it. Different people can interpret these things different ways. This is a substantial escalation in rhetoric from Sony, which implies a number of things, one of which is Sony thinks that they might be able to swing regulators into blocking it, and that it's worth the swing, because one of the things that will happen is they're still unlikely to, and they're putting their street cred on the line here while they announce that their PlayStation 5s are being priced up by 10% in every region on Earth except the United States, while they announced that they didn't bother to add backwards compatibility to their new, undoubtedly expensive VR headset, while they announce all this crap. They're just getting every bad idea you've ever heard from a company out of the way in 1 year, maybe for better times in the future. But Xbox then takes that mantle, and Phil Spencer does the thing that I said he would do with the price increase a couple weeks ago and say, oh no, yes, we're hurting. Costs are up around the board. And yes, definitely that's increasing the price of getting an Xbox into your hands. But we understand that pain means pain for our customers. And we just couldn't increase the price on those people. That wouldn't be the right thing to do. And I'm like, yep, that's the PR play. That's the move. And you are getting into a place where you might actually see, honest to God, fireworks between these two that are usually trying to kumbaya. And the gaming is great for everybody, and we're building the pie. And you see that more from Microsoft to Sony, which Microsoft has been in the rear position for 6 or 7 years. And this is not great, Bob, in my opinion. And I think Sony is making a lot of wrong-headed decisions for what they believe to be short-term gain. I don't think they will get that gain, and I think they're really risking a future going forward. But if they block the Activision deal, bully for them, I guess. But it's not the way that I usually would recommend folks comport themselves.
The problem, as I see it, is that Sony stopped playing the infinite game. I don't know if there's any game theorists here, but they're making decisions based solely on what they think will benefit them now, rather than thinking in long terms. And I think Microsoft is beating them right now because they're playing an infinite game. They're making decisions that somewhat seem like they might work against Microsoft, but they're doing it because they're trying to present a company that stands for certain things like crossplay and backwards compatibility and all of the stuff that they're working on as a company right now. And I think that is frustrating Sony to the point where Sony's making some pretty chump moves when it comes to this, because it's really not in Sony's best interest, I don't think, long term, to combat this deal. Like, Sony is spending a lot of its money also trying to be a monopoly when it comes to games, or at least a major influencer, and they are a bigger influencer than Microsoft in this industry right now. So it's crazy to me to see them take a stance like this, because if you don't think that all these quotes aren't going to be used for them in 10 years when they try to make some crazy acquisition, like, I don't see how that doesn't happen. So I still think that this deal is probably going to go through, but it's definitely getting messier than I thought it was going to get, I must say.
I didn't anticipate Sony doing Scorched Earth. I didn't anticipate this. I honestly, one of the reasons I criticize this is this honestly feels emotional. But whenever you get to emotionality in your corporate messaging, you're losing. Like that is when you've gone too far. That is when you should write the press release you want to write. You put it in the drawer and you burn that drawer and you throw it in a lake. You don't put this kind of crap out there. And that quote that they actually gave to Games Industry Biz, I was like, oh, what? This wasn't even a question that required that kind of response.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it was out of nowhere. And it's like, okay, great. And Microsoft,
their PR company must be pissed.
Microsoft's been playing with kid gloves. I mean, I don't know how many people realize it, but Microsoft can really start. You saw it a little bit in their response to their counter notice to the Brazilian regulatory report, but it's like they can wield a whole lot of crap if we want to start talking about exclusionary market practices. I mean, like, it's not healthy for these two to be doing this, and it's just a matter of time, I think. Microsoft is not going to stop playing this. Remember, if regulators stop their deal, they owe Activision billions. Microsoft is not going to stop this fight. And all hell could break loose before it goes the other direction. And I think, Yeah, and people come on my channel and get mad at me because I hammer Sony on this stuff because they're the ones mostly making the mistakes this year. And people have short memories, but I hammered Microsoft last year, and it's it's so out of whack. And some of that is regulators, because the regulators are signaling things that are out of whack with the laws and the things that they're otherwise governing, that they're regulating. And so all of this gets very, very messy, because under all of this are, especially on the FTC side, which I know better than the UK side, are threats or possible threats or actions that are very likely to lose in court. And like Microsoft is holding that card. And if they decide to fight it that direction, you have even more kind of, at bare minimum, bodies in the streets, right? Like you have Activision sitting out there in limbo. You have, Sony doing whatever the heck they want. And then you have Microsoft trying to get this deal done because they want to make more deals. And this is not great. Let's just go with that.
Okay. So let me get the super chat right now then, because it applies directly to what you're talking to. So Don Lionheart in the house with the $10 super chat. He says, in my opinion, Phil fired the first shot and broke business decorum by publicly saying he sent a deal to Sony before it was signed. If that happened in a contentious deal I was part of, I'd be peeved too. So
now he said he sent it in January, Don. This was months and months ago, and it was exactly the same time when the tweets went out that said we're talking about keeping it on Sony's PlayStation for the foreseeable future. So like nothing was added in that particular language. Sony responded because they wanted to respond. Sony was undoubtedly, now in retrospect, looking at this like, oh, we're going to tell them how I can't believe they're getting this much white knighting and good credit. Microsoft's, our rivals and all this stuff. And I don't blame them. Microsoft is playing a great PR game, and some of it's bullshit. All right, Don, Jim, I agree. But what happens there is they used any excuse they could find. I'm fully of the belief that Phil could have sat there and sat silently for 3 minutes. He would have said, oh, that bitch eating her crackers. And Jim Ryan would have come out with the same damn quote that he did. So I think there's some real tumult at Sony. And yes, if that had happened while it was still pending in January, if that quote comes out, I'm with you. 9 months later, that is dead as a doornail. And Phil's trying to get credit, which maybe is a little bit of a step over the line. The freaking nuclear arsenal being dropped on him from Sony just makes him look bad.
It was bait, and they took it, basically. Yeah. Maybe not
Possibly.
Intentional bait. Maybe
like that's fourth degree chess. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it was intentional either. But the fact that was all it took to set them off, it's like, dude, you have to have better control over your PR presentation than that.
I give full credit to Games Industry Biz, man, because they got like a freaking hotline to a red phone to Jim Ryan. It's like, Jim, you have a bad morning, buddy? You want to tell us anything? Hey,
give us a quote.
Yeah, we're listening. We're listening.
I mean,
Don, thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate you.
I guess here's my question. We talk about this whole deal going through. Has there I can't think of anything this big of an acquisition where it could potentially cause issues with player bases in the future, depending on what Microsoft wants to do. Has there ever been anything aside from maybe Bethesda to a certain extent? I mean, these aren't, I'm picking up spiders, and we're acquiring spiders. This is acquiring
Firebright or whatever the hell Sony picks up every day.
Yeah, some weird, crappy, thing that I've never heard of. But yeah, I mean, it
we love you, developers.
For sure has potential, right? To kind of disrupt how the console space at least looks going forward in 10 years. And that's not to say, and even Phil said, we're not done yet. We're not done acquiring studios. At what point?
They opened the wallet.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I don't necessarily care because I don't play any real Activision studios, but games except from Diablo. But I'm not a big fan of consolidation anyway. I'm not a huge fan of exclusive content. In that, I just don't like. I wish everybody could play everything, obviously, but that's not going to happen. It's not how the business works. I know that. But at what point, I guess, does this become an issue after they acquire, say, Ubisoft, or after they acquire something like an EA? When all of a sudden, Madden, at what point, I guess, guys, does this get concerning, where the consolidation because people will sit there, Sony has all these exclusive games. They don't have Call of Duty. They don't have Overwatch. They don't have Diablo. They don't have games at that level, aside from maybe Destiny, which they've already said is not, going to be, going anywhere. That's probably was somewhere, it's. I can't think of anything else. And even Destiny isn't at Call of Duty's level.
Nothing is Call of Duty.
Nothing is.
Well,
I mean,
Fortnite,
this is a huge acquisition that goes through, and I don't know what these guys are talking about behind the scenes. I don't like either one of them. I mean, you guys, a lot of people, I hate Jim Ryan. I hate Phil Spencer. I think they're both, businessmen in the end. They're sitting there in their
hate's a strong word. Hate's a strong word.
I like them both.
I don't like either one of them. I think that people are duped with this Uncle Phil crap. I think that's crazy to think that these guys are your friends. I think it's crazy that they use the worst part about it is they go on these podcasts of that are just all hyperbole, and they go on there because they know that they've got the fan base, they've got the following, and it's probably people that we know. And
I don't really
that we are
disagree
friends
with this analysis on the Phil stuff.
All right,
but you do have to give him credit.
Drives me crazy.
He's gifted in presenting himself as your cool uncle.
He's a very, very talented guy at what he does.
And that's marketing. No, that's Jim Ryan, to his credit, which is not a sentence I usually start. It doesn't try. He's not going to pull off cool uncle, so he'll just be asshole in a suit.
100%.
I mean, my impression of Phil is that he works for a giant company that is prone to doing evil things because it's a giant company, but he himself is trying to like toe the line and be as, he's trying to keep his soul while being the leader of Xbox. That kind of seems like what he's trying to do, but I don't think he always succeeds. And obviously he's trying to put the business first because that's who his obligation is to, but I don't think he's all that bad. And Jim Ryan, I don't think is that bad either. He's just sort of like maybe.
I don't know Jim Ryan as a person. I think he's a cancer on Sony Interactive Entertainment.
100%.
I don't think he's made great decisions, but I don't think he's a bad guy. I'm just trying to.
I can't judge that. Never will you hear me say Jim Ryan, that guy's an asshole or he's a bad person. He makes bad decisions and he's bad for Sony. That's my position on that.
I generally agree with Travis. I mean, I've had the pleasure of meeting Phil, and tried to look at this from a non-biased point of view. I think Phil is masterclass at interacting with people in general and getting a message out that is suitable for all audiences, if that makes sense. Which is a very hard thing to do at the level he's at. I think people often forget. We look at Phil as a fellow gamer, and he is, which is awesome. And we look at Phil as someone who is really in tune with the community, and he is, which is awesome. But to Travis's point, he is one of the top 16 members of the roundtable at Microsoft, and he's the CEO of Microsoft Gaming. And that is I think people lose sight of just how broad of a responsibility and how big of a responsibility that is. And you have to keep in mind that I know what Dan's saying is you should just be careful because at the end of the day, the bottom line is what matters to both of these guys.
I'm going to say this might be controversial. Microsoft, not any better than Tencent or any of those other stupid Chinese companies that are over there.
Whoa.
Just because
better than Tencent.
Listen,
better
they
than
are
Tencent.
a giant corporation. This is not they control so much crap.
We have so much to talk about today, and here we're going.
No, that it's not Microsoft good, Tencent bad. Everybody gets upset when Tencent acquires something. Microsoft does it. It's like, oh, look at Phil. I don't even know what to say.
I mean, I'm not for giant companies becoming even bigger either, but Tencent's beyond the pale, man. You also chose a pretty bad week to side with Tencent, considering that they just destroyed their entire games media business this week.
I really haven't even been on looked at news really in the last 2 weeks. I've been kind of on vacation, so it's been
they fired
fun.
pretty much all of their employees. Yeah,
Tencent ROI.
Yeah, Tencent.
What do they do?
Not Tencent employees, Tencent's journalists, Dan, not Tencent's employees.
Oh.
Tencent isn't only in gaming, by the way.
His media, their media business.
Yeah, the media. The giant media conglomerate. Yes.
Mostly they killed.
But they're garbage too. I hate them also. Just putting that out there. That's a strong word, but listen. Here's the thing. I just consume games it can have whatever name it has on that, screen that pops up. Doesn't matter to me. I want quality games. All right. And that's it. That's all I want. And what these guys do in back and forth on Twitter and how powerful social media is. And it just drives me nuts. And people get, sucked into it like it's some kind of, they don't care. They literally don't care. They will say whatever. Phil is a wordsmith. Jim Ryan, not so much. He just says random garbage. And it's just like, what is happening? Like, just give me some games. How about that? Just give me some games. And we're in good shape. That's what I want. Games.
I don't even know what to do right now. I don't even know what to do.
All right. It's been great being back, guys. I will see you next week.
Comparing.
We're going to talk about. Yeah.
So, what do I even say at this point? I will say that
they're all garbage, man.
At the end of the day, the bottom line is what matters most for these guys and these companies. But a huge caveat: there is a significant difference in how some of these companies behave towards both their employees and their fan bases to one another. And I think that's worth calling out as well.
And which corporations are part of totalitarian regimes. Also. Throw that out there. Maybe as a...
Yes. And there is a difference.
All right, Travis, but enough about American imperialism. Come on. Next topic, Ain.
I will also say that, Dan, just to counter you a bit here, and not to continue on, because
you can't. We don't have to take Dan seriously. All right.
No, I know. No, but I'm just
Microsoft is the same as Tencent.
I'm just gonna sit here and watch the chaos unfold now.
I know.
No,
but
see, the beauty.
Let me finish the statement, please.
Go, Ains.
Think about the difference. We talked about this like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. Think about the difference with PlayStation now under Jim Ryan versus Sean Layden, right?
Oh, I miss Sean Layden.
Leader. Thank you. So you just proved my point. Leaders make a difference. These guys are not all the same. The way they behave is not all the same. Yes, the bottom line is what matters at the end of the day. Obviously, they're in charge of multi-billion-dollar divisions and corporations. However, there is a vast difference in some of these guys, gals, whoever, and how they behave, what they do behind the scenes, how they handle themselves. So I think we do need to recognize that.
Right. I mean, I can't. Here's the thing with Layden. He was basically Phil for Xbox or for Sony, right? He was relatable.
But you hate
doesn't
Phil.
mean that really in the end relatable. I mean, relatable to he tries to relate to the gamers, tries to play up to their what their expectations are. Oh, we're doing this for you, and here's this, and then obviously he left. Probably, if I'm just speculating here, but I'm guessing it's because Sony didn't like his messaging and wanted something a lot more, fist to the face kind of stuff. And then they got Jim Ryan, and that's not playing out very well for him, at least not here and on social media. So I don't think Layden. I think he was a nice guy, much like Phil, nice guy probably. I don't think his intentions are any different. They want money. They want your money, and they're going to do whatever it takes to get it. And
let me say the opposite.
That's it. That's all it is.
Dan has trust issues.
Let me back up Ains by saying the opposite of what Ains said. Yes. The one thing I would say on this is that you shouldn't judge anything about these people as people based on the persona that you see either on Twitter, in press releases, or even in mixers or wherever you talked with Phil about Ains, which is good somewhat to think about sometimes, because Jim is probably not as bad as you think he is. Phil is not as good as you might think he is. And one of the things that you see, if you've ever sat down and had a lunch with like a politician, just maybe even your local representative, one of the things you get people that are really good at managing optics and self-image. It's very hard to get a handle on exactly how much they're calculating, what they're saying, why they're saying it, what they're talking about. Phil could have been a politician. Jim Ryan could have as well. He just would have been more annoying in political spheres. So you just don't make it people. Don't make it about people. Look at the policies. Corporations are not your friends, which doesn't mean that they can't make good products, because one of the ways they make money is making you happy. But that doesn't mean that they actually care about you. And that's Phil as well. Phil probably cares about people. He cannot possibly care about the millions of people that buy Xboxes,
True.
not on an individual basis.
Yeah,
So just
Unless-
remember that.
Unless you have 10,000 followers.
I'm with you, Hogue. I just think I don't care if corporations care about me. I just, they care about my dollars, so our interests are aligned because I have dollars to spend. And the thing I care about with leadership is, are the decisions you're making consistent? Do you have a vision for your company? You stand for something and you follow through with that. And at least in recent memory, Microsoft is consistent with what they want. At least they say that they have this vision and they act on it, even when you think to themselves, wait, doesn't that work against what you're saying? And they go, well, it doesn't matter because we have this mantra, this manifesto, and we're following it, and we're going to see.
We have a grander vision for a bigger pie.
Exactly.
So you do see that kind of long-term visioning. And what you've got right now is Sony doing the Kermit Arms gift, because one of the things they came into the generation with was this notion that we're going to keep going the same way. Xbox says, we're losing that way, let's do something else. And then Sony is clearly pivoting hard. And they're flailing in doing so. And they think there's blood in the water based on the freaking CMA report, which is, Jim, you're getting bad advice. On that, but like to go and really be this aggressive is not building that pie. I mean, outside of Microsoft wanting all your money if they can get it, they're also invested in making the gaming industry more profitable overall, and this has to be bugging them internally as well, because mommy and daddy fighting is not good, is not a good look, and that's not the direction anybody should want this to go.
Yeah, they're also allies in a way, because they're working very hard to keep enormous businesses out of the games industry. And when they fight, it creates instability, which gives people like Amazon a possible foothold.
Asking Bezos to come in.
Yeah, Google. Like this is not good for. I mean, there's more competitors in the gaming space that could be good, but how some of them will choose to use their weight could be scary, especially Amazon. So,
we could talk for hours about that. I mean, the dynamism of the market, particularly in technology and video games, is one of the reasons why some of the stuff the CMA says and the FTC is so ridiculous. That we live in one of the most fantastic industries on earth, because people are constantly breaking off and making a new product and becoming Respawn, or people are constantly going between companies. And if Microsoft bought everything on earth, what you'd see is the freaking reinvention of Activision and the reinvention of Electronic Arts and all the things we saw happen in the 80s and early 90s. That's what this can do, because all that talent lives in people, not in corporate structures. So there's a lot of extra consternation about consolidation that's unwarranted, because it is such a damn dynamic environment.
Fair. No, that's perfect. That's perfect, and got us mostly back on track.
Let's get out of talking about the CCP, shall we?
Well, I would, except for the super chats that came raining in as Dan was going on his tirade.
That's good content.
You're welcome.
So
you're coming with a freaking red star shirt next week.
Yeah.
I'm coming in with the hammer and sickle. Yep.
Plague Injected with that's not Australian, because Australian is AUS typically. So I'm not sure what that is. $10 super chat. Microsoft isn't going to make Call of Duty exclusive. They will just try to negotiate something out of Sony after that 3-year extension runs out to keep it going.
Okay, so the main fight here is that makes a lot of sense. And Microsoft, that makes a lot of sense right now. Sony says that makes a lot of sense. Sony knows this, but internally, they want paper. They want promises, and they'd prefer them to be enforced by a third-party regulator. And they would prefer even further to have that enforced, because they need to be protected from the bad, evil Microsoft, and we're the good guys, and they need to be kept in their place and to get that PR. That's what this is about. Yes, Phil and I can't remember, Satya, go out there and say we're going to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation, which makes sense. But even Microsoft's response to Jim Ryan's out of nowhere mental breakdown tirade was, we would never take it off the market leader, which, if you're really following closely at home, kids, is a subtweet towards, well, you're the market leader right now.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of one of those things that you see when they bought Bethesda. I think a lot of people said, well, you don't pay this much money to put it on a different platform. And that's true with most Bethesda games. Activision's a lot different, because a lot of their stuff is microtransaction based. I think a year ago it was like $5 or $6 billion that Call of Duty alone made in microtransactions. Microsoft isn't stupid. They're going to try to get this game into as many, players' hands as possible. They want to take maybe, it would be ridiculous to do that because that's where the money's made on these games. It's not from paying.
Right now.
Right now,
Dan. I mean, like you can see a world in which Microsoft says, "Yeah, we keep it on Sony. It's $70. Hell, it's $80. Whatever."
Yeah.
It's also
That's
on
not even
Game
that big a
Pass,
deal.
and you just try to scroll people over until it's like, actually, it just doesn't make sense for us to support that environment anymore now that you're third place. Sorry about that. I mean, like Sony is legitimate in like being concerned, but the answer to that isn't this deal somehow now trips laws that have never read this way in 100 years. So I mean, like that's the trick that you have.
Yeah.
I don't blame Sony for being concerned. I don't blame Sony for the Kermit arms. But you have to use those Kermit arms to actually do work and not just fly about in the middle of the air.
It's not Kermit arms if they're doing work, then.
Right. Well,
those are just regular arms.
This is we have to take those Kermit arms, and they can still be Kermit arms. They have to be in front.
This is a very tortured metaphor.
No.
I don't know.
Moving on. Plague
I
Injected.
assure you, this makes a ton of sense, Travis.
Plague Injected. Thank you very much. Don Lionheart back in
you.
the chat. He says, $5 super chat. A giant company that's prone to doing evil things because it's a giant company. Quote, end quote. How very San Franciscan of you, Travis.
Hey, I mean, late stage capitalism, it's got some issues, and large companies, they have a lot of power, which means they can do a lot of harm. They can also do a lot of good. I don't hate corporations, but I'm wary of them. I'm a little suspicious, as we all should be. So
you should be
that
suspicious
San
about any
Franciscan,
institution that manages any level of power. I won't
Exactly.
go too prone to do bad things, though.
You know what it is I'm just suspicious of people, and also, the more power you have, the more suspicious I am. So that's all.
Thank you, Don. Lucius Augustus back, $5 super chat. This is just corporate hate, which I'm typically for, but to compare someone to Tencent is crazy, Dan.
It is. I'm sorry.
No.
It is.
In the end, they're all the same. They're all the same.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I'm muting
stick by
Dan
that.
and moving on. Thank you,
We're
Lucy.
trying to get out of here for kickoff, Dan.
Yeah, Enron is the same thing as.
We haven't even gotten to the main topic yet because of this.
I mean, isn't the
You're
title of this
welcome.
video "Call of Duty" is so important? So
Yeah,
isn't
pretty
that-
much. Pretty much.
Yeah, there you
We're
go.
kind of on it. That's fair.
There you
That's
go.
fair. Dan Lazaro in the house, $5 super chat. Dan's been listening to too much Rage Against the Machine. Phil's a good guy.
I'm telling you, you have no idea on Phil. I'm
Phil
telling
is
you
a
that I'm
good
going to give
guy.
him the best compliment I can give him, which is he is a masterclass, very high level public relations and communications type guy, which means you have no freaking idea.
Yep.
I mean,
He knows what he's doing.
some of us here have met him. I think he's a good guy. I also think Jim Ryan's probably a good guy, but who knows?
Met him is not good enough. I'm just telling you, it's not.
I will agree with both that he absolutely, I've said it many times, a masterclass at what he does. There's no doubt about that. He is also a good guy.
Yeah. I know former presidents that were really good orators.
I will.
too.
I can say more after. I'm not going to stay on the air, but I'll say more afterwards. That's all. Okay, good enough.
Yeah.
Gecko Gamer, €10 super chat. This is the corporate version of international relations. Big superpowers that duke it out, while smaller powers find sleek ways to exploit power imbalances. Sorry, I was trying to figure out what you were trying to say there. I don't know if
Sure, I mean, I played Tropico.
Yeah,
That's
that's right. Digital
Gecko, yeah.
Devolver is building a banana republic. Is that the idea here? Yeah.
So much commentary. Gecko, thank you as always, man. Appreciate you. He also follows up with another €2 super chat. We need a video game UN, United Nations.
I don't know that would help us. I think
That
that
would
was
be
the
as effective
ESA.
as the UN.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ESA was about as effective. Yeah. So,
Gecko, thank you so much as always, man. Appreciate you. Highlander, where am I? Highlander 001 in the house with the $5 super chat. Can
There
this
can be only one.
That's true. Can this backfire on Sony when they make deals for exclusive modes and timed exclusives?
Well, they're never going to be playing in these leagues, right? So I did mention this when I talked about this, which is that, yeah, they get beta early on, Modern Warfare, whatever this stuff. They get Final Fantasy 16. These are not remotely in the same leagues, and Sony can't gather $70 billion, certainly not in cash, to give to a company's shareholders. So one of the things that they're flailing against is that Microsoft has spent 20 years not opening up its piggy bank to really fully enter gaming. That we had essentially existed in a test prototype phase for what Xbox could be. And Phil, you want to talk about what Phil really did? Phil convinced Microsoft to go all in. And that's changed the dynamic. And Sony knows they can't compete on cash money. And as I've said in other places in this place, Sony then has to get weird. And Sony has been to some extent. Bungie's a weird deal. There are other weird things that they have done. And now they have taken that to the next level of maybe we can wield the government against Microsoft because the government already hates Microsoft. This is known for decades. And so Sony's given it the old
because they don't know how to use computers. That's my theory.
Well, you want me to go on for 90 minutes about the Internet Explorer case? In any event, so yes, you could see them swinging around on this, but like even the Bungie deal isn't remotely like the Activision deal. Certainly none of the other crap you see. People bring up Embracer all the time. Embracer has spent like 6 cents in money compared to everybody else. They are assembling like the B team Avengers, like, the folks from the Multiverse of Madness. They're assembling that crew for nickels on the dollar. And
they're the Thunderbolts.
I think it's going to work out for them. But like it ain't even remotely close. You could show me all 128 developer teams or whatever that they have, and like not one of them fits into the freaking lobby of Treyarch or whatever. So it's completely different. But no, it's not going to really backfire. The stuff that's going to backfire on Sony, I think, is if I'm Microsoft, I'm running ads as soon as I actually take over Activision that talks about how Call of Duty is so damn important that other platforms can't survive without it. And like that kind of thing is what I'm running all day and every day. But I'm also doing what Phil did this last day, which is, no, we would never raise prices in this economy. That's just mean to people. It's like, knocked it right out of the park.
That is more likely to backfire on them than this. Like the fact that, they showed their market influence by effectively increasing the price of all consoles in all the markets except for the United States.
We talked about that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it's crazy that they did that, and then they're turning to Microsoft like, how dare you, sir?
How dare you?
You have so much influence in this industry. It's like, yo.
Yep.
They're all part of the monopoly, though.
Randall Thor 19 in the house. Good to see you, man. $10 super chat. Thank you very much. He says 4D chess here. Phil's lowballing with 3 years, knowing full well they can make PlayStation regulators feel like they won, quote, something by setting it up for 10 years, which they are prepared for anyway.
They'll never give 10.
I don't think so.
That's too much of a monetary commitment. But you might be right in terms. So Phil's lowball. Okay. All right. Microsoft's strategy was to get everybody on board. They give up the stuff to the union. They've tried to give up stuff to Sony. They're trying to give up stuff at lowball levels that they don't otherwise care about. Because if they get everybody on board at the same time, they think they don't have problems. Sony says, no, screw that. And then it goes on for 9 months. Yes, Sony's betting that they can get more out of the regulators. Xbox, like I said, is still holding the cards that honestly, they probably win in court if the FTC tries to push it. So you've got this kind of weird dynamic where you've got 3 different parties all betting/bluffing at each other, which is awesome for virtual legality and a lawyer like me, but not so often for like having definite outcomes to all of this. Nobody's given 10 years because technology moves way, way too fast for 10 years. And understand, Call of Duties don't come from the Call of Duty tree. Okay, this is Microsoft spending hundreds of millions of dollars to make a Call of Duty happen. And it might come a point in time, I know it's difficult to see from the inside, where it doesn't make sense to spend that money on that product, right? Call of Duty has not been the top of video games forever in the entire history of the industry. Things move in cycles. And at some point, Call of Duty will not be at the top of the industry anymore. And Microsoft needs to be able to react to that. It cannot be a suicide pact that they enter into to get this deal done. So, yes, I agree. I think 5 years is probably more likely, but maybe tacked on to the 3 that already exist so that Sony gets very little in any event. And then you move on. It can't be perpetual. It can't be that long. Fiduciary duties on the corporate side wouldn't allow you to enter into some kind of perpetual obligation to spend hundreds of millions of dollars making a product.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I don't think the consent decree will ask for more than, Activision's planned Call of Duties for, right? We don't even know that there will be Call of Duties after 5 years.
Yeah, Rand followed up in chat just now. He said he was just using 10 years as an example. I think he was meaning like further out than 3 years.
Yeah, I see 7 as the absolute maximum because that's the average of generations. And if I'm sitting there, I would fight hard against anything that was more than 7. But it won't even be that long. Remember, Microsoft is trying to set the swim lanes. Microsoft is trying to get these regulators to want something that they otherwise are happy to agree to. Like that's the process for the last 9 months. That's why they float out there. We're fine giving Call of Duty to PlayStation for a while. And yeah, if it's 4 years, if it's 5 years, they already are seemingly obliged till 2024. We figure it out. It's going to be fine. But if it gets past that, then Microsoft says you don't have a case. And then we really start to see fireworks.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Rand, thank you for the super chat. Over to Mr. Badbit. Dan, 2024. $2 super chat.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yep.
What will his platform be? Wait, isn't your argument that they're all the same? So you would be one of them if you were.
Dan's
running
evil.
for
I
president?
knew
Yes,
it all.
his
No,
actual-
no, what you need to understand is I would
not?
basically destroy everything and rebuild it all from the bottom up.
Sound
Like, I
like
would
another
just, you know-
populist president I know about.
No, I would get rid of like
Buddy,
I would
was gonna go a
set
different
age limits
direction
for
with
all this stuff.
administrations there, Travis.
It's gone.
No, I think Dan says they're all the same, right? So his campaign platform is why not me?
Yeah. I work cheap.
We're all bad.
So-
Why not me? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very inspiring message of hope and yeah. It's
I
beautiful.
don't need monies from lobbies and crazy stuff like that. I just want, I would just go around smacking people in the face like, what are you doing that for? Stop being that's what would be my campaign.
So mostly like
The-
idiocracy.
Yeah.
Right. Like what? Why are you an idiot?
You're
You're gone. You're gone.
your
I can't deal
your
with
your campaign slogan would be Ooga Booga.
Yeah. Stop making us dumber.
Moving on.
That would be it. Yeah.
Super chat. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate you. Tal, $10 super chat.
chats, Dan. People want to talk to you.
Yeah, people want to chat, Dan. Sup chat, sup Bigcasters. I think Bigcast has taken some notes from Iron Lord's podcast, and I suggest a 5-hour podcast. All in favor. And so
No.
it has been instated.
It's fine. You're just going to get it without me.
Yeah.
Or me. So let me know who wants to host.
I'll
Dan.
be here, but I'll be napping on this couch behind me. That'll be the last 3 hours.
If you want a hot 10-cent takes, just find my YouTube channel, which doesn't exist. So
Nice.
we'll be good.
Surprisingly, Dan's YouTube channel is actually full of really incendiary rhetoric about the Communist Party. It's
My
really
YouTube
Yeah,
channel
it's kinda
is
crazy.
literally it's one video of my son's graduation that's really poorly shot on like an old Android phone.
Well,
So-
I've also been hosting the Naked HD account on your profile.
Sure.
so,
Sure.
It's got a couple million subs already.
for sure.
All right. So thank you guys. Appreciate you. Appreciate the sidetrack here. So Call of Duty. Can I talk about Warzone now?
Go nuts.
What, have we not already started the Warzone names? Was this
Yes,
not a
right.
Warzone
This was
game?
it. This was it.
What an episode.
So I'll be quick on this one, but Call of Duty next presentation, like I said, they talked more about Modern Warfare 2, the campaign, or the multiplayer suite. So we've kind of covered that. They've got Warzone Mobile is coming, which is big news if you're a mobile BR fan. Call of Duty Mobile, PUBG Mobile are huge games in terms of the global community. So that's a big thing. But most interesting to, I think, the people I've been speaking with is Warzone 2.0. So strange name. I don't like the whole Warzone 2.0 approach, but that's what they're going with. But regardless,
It's good enough for Anthemanes.
Yeah.
oh man.
Well, I think it's to
This one's gonna release.
right. Isn't it to like notate that it's the same game, but they're making it a new version, which you used to just call that 2, but 2 means it's a separate game, and they don't want that.
Well, they're swapping engines out completely.
I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah,
this
but
is
you carry all your stuff forward with you, don't you? On your account.
I don't. So part of what you talking about current Warzone?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know
Okay.
what they're doing with 2.0 is to Hoag's point. They've built this one from the ground up. It's a brand new map. It's the biggest Call of Duty map, including prior Warzones that they've ever made. It has a lot of new features in it, including things like aquatic combat. You can shoot underwater, through water. It has boats, helicopters, all kinds of like 12 new vehicles. It has kind of classic Call of Duty multiplayer maps within the BR map, something that was supposedly leaked about the Halo BR that's coming. But like airport and terminal and some of those other famous Call of Duty multiplayer maps are within the map, and you can find them and battle on them.
See, now I just want them to actually have multiplayer games going on within those war zones, and you just drop in with a parachute and just screw up all the team stuff within a fight.
Well, interestingly enough, not directly related to that, but there are regions in the map now that are AI controlled, where you can kind of battle with AI and real players, and
Titanfall. Okay.
unlock other things. Kind of. One of the most interesting things they're trying out in this is they said that in certain games there will be multiple circles. So Battle Royale, of course, has one circle that closes and closes and closes on all the games you play. What they're doing here is there'll be like 3 circles that show up and they slowly there, and then it all condenses down into one at the end. Kind of a new thing that they're, trying with the Battle Royale formula. There's a lot of other things they're doing too. They're taking some cues from Apex, like they have upgradable weapons and stuff within the systems. You can pay to bring people back. So a lot of advancements in terms of just Warzone in general. And what they're doing is they're launching this on November 16th, a few weeks after Modern Warfare 2. And it's Modern Warfare 2 aligned is the word they're using, meaning that the suite of gunplay, weaponry, how it feels, etc., is going to match in Warzone 2.0 as it does in Modern Warfare 2. And this is their platform for the foreseeable future, because remember, we're not getting a Call of Duty next year, like a Call of Duty mainline entry next year. So this is their kind of platform that they're going to build upon for the next, so whenever we get the next Call of Duty is.
When was the last time we had a year without a Call of Duty?
Almost 20 years ago,
Black
I think.
Ops 4. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Black Ops 4. I was like, wait, what? So
were you saying, was that a joke that game wasn't good, or okay, cool.
It wasn't finished, and it
wasn't finished. Yeah, that's what happened with the whole Vanguard and all that stuff. But anyway, they did mention that over 125 million people have played the original Warzone, and obviously with Modern Warfare 2 and new Warzone and all that, they kind of expect this to be higher, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. Like, what games in the industry, mainline console games, even free to play, are being played by 125 million people. So,
well, being played is too strong, right? Those stats are always fun, right? Because I played Warzone once, said blah.
Yeah,
I'm one of the 125 million, right?
You are. But they do that for every game nowadays, right? I mean,
no, of course, go find the highest number you can. I'm just saying, like,
well,
I found it one. It's like Last Jedi, right, Trev?
How dare you?
Please don't start.
10.
But we know that we do know that Warzone, as it stands today, is still one of the most played games on the market. I think it's like 2 or 3 popular on live now, and makes as Dan referenced earlier, the billions in microtransactions. So, yeah,
they love their gulags.
The market.
They love their gulags,
and the gulags change too, which is really interesting what they're doing there. So when you die, you actually go. People remember the gulag from Warzone 1. You go 1-on-1 against someone. If you kill them, you come back. The new one is...
Here's my proposal. Can I propose a new Warzone 2.0? If you die in Warzone, you go into a gulag with one other player, and you have to play a card game against them. And if you win the card game, then you get to go back. Okay? Are you with me, Hogue? I'm trying to get the Hogue vote here.
This is why leaders can matter, Dan. See? This would destroy Warzone as we know it.
That's okay. I would miss nothing.
If it was a good card game, that diversity of gameplay, it's like, okay, I'm already shooting things in the Warzone, and then I get killed and I go to Gulag and I have to shoot more things. Like, give me, where's the variety? You know what I mean?
I can already hear the chat talking about this damn nerd game in the Gulag. Yeah.
People would just quit the game when they go to the gulag and start over.
Here's the problem, Travis, and one of the main reasons why something like that wouldn't happen is like I wouldn't like playing Warzone, so I wouldn't find myself in the gulag. And the people that do like Warzone, who find themselves in the gulag, aren't happy playing the card game. So here we are.
I really cannot get over the casual use of the word gulag. It'd be like if like Warzone came out and they named it like
anyway,
internment camp, and you're like, oh, you got to go to the internment camp, and you're like, it's a little, I don't know, why'd you use that phrase? It's
weird. a little rough. So what they do in this one is instead of 1v1, it's 2v2, and you get placed with a teammate who you do not know, and it has proximity chat. So like if I die, I'll suddenly drop in with, Mr. I don't know, some gamer tag that I have to play with and win. And if we win, we both come back and we go back to our separate teams or squads. And if not, you're dead. Funny enough, Mr. Orange in the chat says you should die and go into a zombies mode. Last standing returns. That's actually a pretty cool idea. I like that.
Drop like 8.
You don't like my card idea?
No, I'm leaving the card idea.
Okay.
On the side of the road. Yeah.
You have to build an arcade paradise first before someone else.
A lot of people have played that because of your recommendation on here, by the way.
going on my top 10 list, folks.
Anyway,
okay. Can I just say that Hoag's top 10 list has about 50 games on it? If the show is any indication, he says it's going on my top 10 list like 3 times an episode. Like his top 10 list is enormous.
It's 8.
Yeah,
it's 8 games right now. I keep track.
No. Somebody go through all the episodes this year and find all the times Hogan said it's going on my top 10 list. It's a lot. This list is a little suspicious. That's all I'm saying. Some money's being exchanged.
It's a thankless job, folks, but I promise you it's not over 10.
There's a grift here. There's a grift. I can sense it.
From the Arcade Paradise people? What do they have? Like $1.50?
It's Big Hoag. It's like Oprah's favorite things. Like there's something. These aren't all her favorite things. There was
they're putting the quote
here.
That, and he's getting kickbacks for on my top 10 list, but there's like 19 games on the list.
All I'm saying, I don't know if we have big enough fans to where somebody would actually do this, but go through. It's a lot of times you said it. That's all I'm saying. Don't trust Big Hoag.
Good luck to you.
Too funny. Anyway, Warzone 2.0 is November 16th. Like I said, like less than 3 weeks after the launch of Modern Warfare 2. So you can get in, play your campaign, get used to multiplayer, and then drop into Warzone. It is free to play. They did mention the DMZ mode, which is like Tarkov. They've got an awful lot coming for this. There's a lot more I could talk to. The presentation was long, and there is a lot of info out there. You can find it on our site. You can find it on the official Call of Duty site, obviously, but check it out. Basically, when I finished watching that presentation and they went through all the features, all the technicalities, all the stuff between Warzone, Modern Warfare 2, and mobile, I thought to myself, this is what 8 studios worth of AAA development does for you. This is what thousands of developers can do. Like, I mean, the money invested into this as their future platform is bonkers. But
they're speaking all of their games. So
is bonkers is that a legal term, Hoag? Do you see that in contracts very often?
You should. I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't. Yeah.
Travis, you'd be surprised at what I see in contracts. Not all lawyers are good.
All right.
Most lawyers aren't good. Gotcha.
Oof. Got him.
Let's jump over.
Why I get paid.
Rudy Giuliani's a lawyer. I just want to throw that out there. Anyway,
you're not wrong.
Oof. You went.
Ted Cruz is a lawyer.
Nose planted. Anyway. Let's jump over to State of Play and let's combine with the RGG presentation as well. So Dan, I'll bring you back around here. A lot of Yakuza is coming, and it's not called Yakuza anymore. So hereforth, it will be known as Like a Dragon. So we have, just to summarize for people, Like a Dragon 8, which is the direct sequel to Like a Dragon.
Like a Dragon.
I was going to say, Can you help me out here? Because this seems like the stupidest thing on earth, Dan. Am I wrong in thinking that Yakuza 7 is called Like a Dragon?
Yeah, Yakuza 7 is a
subtitle. You can't rename your series one of the subtitles from a sub-episode of the existing series.
Hold on. So Like a Dragon
they didn't.
Yeah, Ryugakutoku is Like a Dragon in Japanese.
Correct.
The name of their studio is Like a Dragon.
The name of the studio is Like a Dragon, and the series is called Like a Dragon in Japan. So this is more of the way they're branding it in America thing than a name change thing.
Right. And IGN had an interview with one of the directors at RGG, basically explaining why they're doing this. And they were saying that because they're hitting so many different time periods and they're hitting all these different aspects of this now, that calling it Yakuza didn't really seem to make sense anymore, because it doesn't even really tie into what people think of with Yakuza. That was their reasoning for it.
But just to be clear, in America, that all makes sense to me, right? It's Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest, got it. But like 7 here in the West, it can't be Like a Dragon, Like a Dragon. Like, I don't accept it. Like a Dragon squared, no. We have to work on the title.
Well,
of 7.
It's not 7. It's Yakuza Like a Dragon. It doesn't have the 7.
Oh, there is a 7. The 7 is Book of Life or whatever. Yeah. So
exactly. So they saved it the name. So Yakuza mainline games are all one story, and then the Like a Dragon, if it has Like a Dragon on it, it is side stories, or presumably will be continuing Ichiban's story in future.
In Like a Dragon 2.
No, it'd be Yakuza Like a Dragon 2.
I thought they were dumping Yakuza. I'm not understanding this news.
Me neither, but only because it's too early. But they clearly have a plan to keep the mainline Yakuza games separate from this new Like a Dragon branding. That's my impression. And if I'm wrong when they come out with the second Ichiban game, whatever that ends up being
Just
called.
like a dragon.
I'll admit it. I think right now it's too early to say.
So
yeah.
if we would have gone through them here, so the sequel to this could be tough because it's only going to further your guys' point. But the sequel to Like a Dragon, right? Is actually called Like a Dragon : subtitle, which is to be defined. Right now they're just calling it Like a Dragon 8, but it's going to have a title. Right.
So that makes sense because that's if you dump Yakuza and you call it Like a Dragon, that's where Yakuza would have been.
Yep.
Correct.
But like, what do we call Like a Dragon now?
So that's coming in 2024. That's TBD. And then there's two other titles. So Like a Dragon Ishin is the one that is finally coming west. That released in 2014 in Japan. It's coming west in February. So that's that one. And then there's Like a Dragon Gaiden, which is coming sometime next year as well. So all three of these are
throwing
titled Like a Dragon.
I got to tell you, more power to you. I love this series, folks. You're a great studio. Good luck.
Dan's gonna buy them all. We know that. So
and Dan will help us work through if it's a new game or not.
I will also buy them all. These games are amazing.
Is Judgment, is it getting a Like a Dragon Judgment? Is it getting brought into the series?
Judgment is part of the Yakuza series.
So Judgment is separate.
Judgment was called Judge Eyes in Japan.
It's just called Judgment. Yeah.
It's just translated.
Well, but Judgment 2 is Lost Judgment is still Lost Judgment in Japan. They got rid of Judge Eyes.
That I don't know for sure what that's. Judge Eyes is what the original Judgment was called in Japan. I don't know if it's Judge Eyes 2. I never really looked that one up.
No, it's Lost Judgment. They had a whole post about it. They're unifying the names.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. I remember that. Yep.
In any event, this has been Wordplay with Rick. Thanks.
You do have to be an informed consumer to play the series, I think is your point, which most people aren't.
So. Well, I'm just saying that the biggest problem I have for it is that like a Dragon is used right now on a product. And I find that to be confusing.
Yeah.
Well, it would just basically be like Ain said, it'd be Like a Dragon : sandwich or something, you know. I mean,
but I think right now Yakuza Like a Dragon can't be Yakuza Like a Dragon. Like that needs a rename for.
You think so? The way I see it is there's the Yakuza series that has numbers at the end of it, which means it's part of Yakuza. There's Judgment, which is its own series. Then there's the Like a Dragon series, which has presumably numbers at the end of it, like Ain said, Like a Dragon.
No, but they're getting rid of Yakuza completely as a name, right? So the sequel to Yakuza Like a Dragon is going to be Like a Dragon, Truth of the Babe, whatever.
Yeah. It'll be 2 if it's Ichiban, and then it'll have a colon if it's an unrelated story. So they have like 4 series right now: Yakuza, Judgment, Like a Dragon, and then the Like a Dragon spin-offs that have colons and subtitles. There you go.
I like that one
Like
too.
a Double Dragon is what the sequel should be.
Anyway, lots of Yakuza, because it's much easier to refer to it as that. Lots of Yakuza coming from RGG, and not only in the West, but on all platforms. All the games they announced are coming to Xbox, PlayStation, I believe Switch is in their PC. So, and Judgment, they also announced the Judgment and Lost Judgment are coming to PC as well. So,
I think they already did.
Good news.
Yeah.
There was something extra about it, Dan. I apologize.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is. I mean, out of all the news that happened while I was gone for 2 weeks, this is the only one I ever actually cared about. This is amazing. I literally downloaded 3 Yakuza games to start playing the story over. Still gonna skip 3 because it's hot garbage. Other than that, this is awesome. I've been waiting for Ishin to come over to the West for a long time. I'm curious how they're gonna do it. They're using Unreal 4, I think, in it.
They said it's They said it's it's remade. They also did clarify there will be no English dub for it. So just to prepare everyone.
It doesn't matter because only heathens listen to it in English.
Mistake. They should.
It's terrible.
Like a Dragon's approachability, man. I probably wouldn't have played those games if I didn't play Like a Dragon.
Well, I mean, like Yakuza 0 doesn't
English
have
dubbing
one.
was great.
I mean, it doesn't have English dubs. There's some games that don't have it.
Yeah, and they get played less. I just don't know why would you turn it not provide it as an option. It improved Like a Dragon for me so much more. So I would just
maybe it's an engine thing. I have no idea.
Yeah,
all the other games, Judgment and stuff.
I want them to sell copies of this game, Dan. That's what I'm saying.
I would love
inclusivity.
I can care about everybody else. But yeah, this is good news. I don't know what game is. I know it's the like in between 6 and Like a Dragon, with Ichiban. So it's like something, it's bridging that gap, which is cool. Not supposed to be super long, but Ishin's been the one that all the people here have been wanting for a long time. There was another one called Kishin. I don't know if that one's ever going to make it over here. There was also one for the PSP, I think. It was like, but it was like a side, like kind of like a Tekken Street Fighter kind of, like the combat was like side by side kind of stuff. It was kind of basic. That was it, but it was just another spin-off. Like there's so many of those games out there. There was Dead Souls, which was a zombie killing one that just used the same characters. These guys are just they just throw out the stuff, and it's good. Like the stories are fun, and the stuff that you can do between the stories is mostly good. It's no card game in ESO, but it's good. There's like hostess stuff and all right. Anyway, I'll stop talking about this. I used most of my time for the Tencent and Microsoft comparison, so I will yield to what else was shown.
Series.
I like how you think that you have a limited amount of time, and then Hogue and I just talk for like an hour.
It's strategic, Travis. I like to,
He picks his points.
Yeah, you got to pick your points.
All right.
Shout out to real quick.
Man.
Yeah, no,
Mr. Badbit did a great job. Joe, filling in for me, the first week.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Pretty much did exactly the impression of me. I love him. Did a great job. Also Puerto Rican, so kind of checked that box.
Yeah, he jumped right in.
Jumped right in.
Yeah. So remainder of back to State of Play, right? That was RGG kind of did their separate thing, like I said. But State of Play, and like I said, we've got Nintendo Direct and State of Play to comment on. I'm not going to mention every single game shown because we just don't have time to go through them. I'll touch on the core ones here, or the kind of, I should say, major ones. If there's anything else you want to touch on, guys, let me know. But State of Play. So we got Tekken 8, which, if you're a big Tekken fan, that looked to be, from what I've heard from people, it looked to blow people away.
Sure, it looks like Tekken.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Tekken.
You guys don't like Tekken?
Tekken's fine. I like Tekken better than Street Fighter, probably.
Whoa. Actually, a lot of people feel that way. I'm more of a
Tekken has a huge audience. Yeah, no doubt. And this one really has people excited. Ground up, they came out afterwards and said there are no reused resources from Tekken 7. It's all brand new. And they gave some other details, which is it's really impressive. So yeah,
they don't skip the gym days. I tell you that.
Yeah, I know. Guys get bigger and bigger every game. We did get a couple PSVR 2 things, and separately outside of the State of Play, we got the first PSVR 2 impressions this week from the major sites. They showed Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, excuse me. And is it Demio or Demeo? I'm not sure.
Actually, I don't know either.
No idea.
Demio.
I play it. It's a great game on VR.
I've heard really good things about it
it's
from
really
Cog
good.
and others. Yeah. So
what is Galaxy's Edge? Is that the thing in Disney?
It's an advertisement to go to Disney World.
It is,
Okay.
but yeah, so it's like it's an in-app virtual tour of the park. It's not bad. It's not good. Called
Get excited.
Yeah. So they're showing PSVR 2 off more. We still don't have a date or price, but they're showing it more. Then get really excited, guys, because they showed PlayStation Stars and your ability to get digital collectibles.
Do we think those were NFTs like a moment ago? Do we think that was going to be an NFT program?
It's got that feel to it for sure.
It has that feel to it.
Yeah.
Because the one thing that okay, you've got these things hovering in the black void of space. How are you not showing what is the interaction point? Do I get a little trophy case? Is this a menu? Well, this is like half-assed. I swear to God, it's because it was some other program, and you're reshuffling it to try to make it work for now.
Yeah,
I feel like it was an Astro's Playroom or something. Didn't they have like a thing where you collected like old stuff?
Those little dioramas certainly look like they're in the little plastic pods in Astro's. But you got all those. It's like collect this PlayStation 3. It's like literally you gave that for free in your free game with PlayStation 5. So what do you want me to be excited about?
No. Dumb.
Yeah, that was weird. We did get Stellar Blade, which is the new name for Project Eve, which has now been apparently switched over to a PlayStation exclusive. And coming I think that one was 2024, but
that's
yeah.
three. They have a
it's
3 on
2023. Sorry. Rise of the Ronin is the next one. Yeah.
Yeah, the only
2023. But this was originally debuted, Project Eve, as coming to Xbox. So this was kind of a interesting announcement that they got the name, they got the trailer, and then a PlayStation console exclusive. So obviously some money was exchanged, and something happened behind the scenes. We're not really sure yet about this one.
Yeah.
No
Well,
idea.
I mean,
I don't even know what it is. I
it's
feel like I've seen it and I don't remember it.
third-person sword swinging anime alien fighting adventure thing.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. Then we got Rise of the Ronin, which is the other game Team
You
Ninja.
skipped in duality. Did we have any thoughts on that?
Go for it.
Okay, I remember this. Yeah.
No, I was just curious. I mean, I like little mech based combat, and it has a little egg shaped mech thing. I don't know if it'll be any good. The problem is Sin Duality and Stellar Blade kind of leaned into each other, being action games of that type. I just was curious if anybody had any thoughts.
It didn't do much for me. I mean, but it's not the type of game that would. It's not for me, so that's fine.
Did Stellar Blade?
Nope.
Okay.
No, I'm just not into those types of games personally. I mean, I know plenty of people are. It's a
No,
me
Stellar
thing.
Blade. I actually tweeted this out. Stellar Blade starts with an in cockpit view of you like coming into a city, and I thought, hey, maybe we're getting some kind of flight something that isn't a third person action adventure melee combat oriented thing. And no, those hopes were dashed about 10 seconds after I thought it.
Rise of the Ronin is the one I was probably more interested in, which is the other Team Ninja game they're working on. It's coming in 2024. This is also a PlayStation console exclusive, according to the trailer. Me personally, I just like Team Ninja games, fast combat that's challenging and tough, kind of like Wolong seems to be. So interested in seeing this, but kind of interested again seeing another multiple console exclusives in this space, especially one from Team Ninja here. But there it is.
What are the chances it's just like a regular action game, like an action without Souls-like combat or being some kind of roguelite or some kind of weird, like it's just like
The trailer framed it as an open world. It looked like an Assassin's
right? Yeah,
Creed.
that's kind of what I thought it was at first when I first saw it, and the eagle comes down and swoops in and stuff, and I was like, oh, this is some kind of Assassin's Creed-ish, Ghost of Tsushima kind of thing, or is it Sekiro or Wolong? I don't know. I have no idea what to think. I know Team Ninja's.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't going to do much for
historically.
you. This isn't going to do much for you, Dan. But it says you are a Ronin, a warrior free from all masters and bonds, as your destiny intertwines with story characters. Take part in an immersive, combat-focused action experience. That's their description.
Yeah, it sounds like Ghost of Tsushima. Maybe.
Could be.
Doesn't sound like
Ghost
anything.
of
That could be any
Tsushima
game.
has elements of.
Yeah, we'll see. So we'll see more of that, obviously. And then, it wasn't a super long show. Then we got the announcement that there's going to be a God of War Ragnarok DualSense, controller that you can order. And
God,
then
I thought that might be their mic drop. When they did that intro on the controller, it
So did
was
I.
so delightful. I was like, and then cut to, that's our show.
that would have been
No.
hilarious, actually.
That would have been awesome.
And then they, of course, showed the story trailer for Ragnarok,
Gal?
which I have not watched. So please, as I put in the
Oh.
notes, I've gone completely
Did
dark
you play
on
God
Ragnarok.
of War 1?
You being serious?
Yeah.
Well, in terms of content,
I'm saying, did you play God of War 1?
Yeah, I've platinumed God of War 2018.
Okay, yeah, then you saw the trailer.
Yeah, pretty much.
Damn it, Travis! Don't do
No.
this.
No,
Don't do
we have-
this.
Aang is allowed to be excited for God of War 1.3. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Chat, I need help, man. I need help.
I'm just kidding. I'm actually excited for this game. I just wanted to play into Hoag's hate fantasy for a minute and just
I don't have a hate
take the wind
fantasy.
out of your sails. a little bit.
I would have loved to get a nice hype-filled buzz on from that trailer. I'm going to need a lot more than that, friend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really, Dan? You feel the same way too? I do.
I mean, I didn't. What I saw, it looked like. I mean, just not to give anything specific, it God of War 1 with some new stuff.
I've taken to
Some new
calling
enemies.
it God of More, which I think they should have named the game, personally.
I don't think it's going to be quite as short as a lot of people are thinking it's going to be. Like it's some kind of like Left Behind DLC, or or
Man, it shouldn't
whatever.
be
But,
short.
I mean, I think it's going to be just as. It's going to have just as much stuff as the first one. It's just going to be. It's not. Also don't think it's going to be some kind of humongous step forward for the franchise or anything, because it's just telling them, it's finishing up the story. It seems like that's But that's all
I
stuff.
think-
I didn't really get much out of the trailer.
Enemy
Okay.
diversity. Enemy diversity, please.
Yeah, I've
Please.
talked a lot about that, but at least in the social circles I'm in, our Discord, etc., people were hyped after this trailer. So, like I said, I haven't watched it, so I don't know, but people were pretty
My bad.
pumped up. So if you guys weren't, that's fine, of course. But when you guys said it's God of War 1.3,
Well, it is.
I am both hyped for it and recognize that there is certainly some truth to it just being God of More.
more of the same.
It's not a bad thing, but it is like, the things I get hyped for is when I see something that like I've never seen in a game before that I think is going to be a game changer. I'm like,
Sure.
oh, that's totally interesting. That's fresh. And you look at this and you're like, no, this is exactly what we thought God of War 2 is going to be, which is nice.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
That's what
But-
Plague Injected said. He said God of War Ragnarok being more of the same. It's probably what the audience wants, so it's not a bad
Probably.
thing.
Probably. Not bad. It's
Yeah.
a good game. 8 out of 10. This will probably be the same.
There's
Excited.
something to be said about comfort food for sure. I mean, we don't
Sure.
get enough of that anymore
Yeah.
because
I
at
like
least
the
we know
Fast
it's
and
probably
Furious
not going to be
franchise.
broken.
Same
Right.
thing.
I
It's funny, I've
No.
played enough Valhalla that it's just like, yeah, oh God, all the Norse mythology crap. It's like, yeah, no thanks.
I feel the
That's-
same way
yeah.
about the samurai stuff lately. So
Well,
much of
I
that.
got to tell you, when Rise of the Ronin comes out on its video, is there somebody at Ubisoft being like, Code Red, Jesus Christ? Like, are they just like, you waited too long, Ubisoft? Everybody's doing
I feel like there's enough to distinguish the Assassin's Creed universe because it's got the weird sci-fi subplot. It's got
Nobody
assassin
likes
rules.
that.
That's the
This-
worst part of it.
I do actually. It's got
No,
the
you do not. Tell
I
me
do.
one plot point in the last
I'm
3
leaving.
future plots of Assassin's Creed.
one plot point in the last 3.
3. You get Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla. To tell me
Well,
one.
we got a
interesting
new
thing that happened.
protagonist in that time.
Anything, just anything that happens. Any one thing that happens in the future plot line.
We got a new protagonist, and she met one of the characters that was in the past story. Not to give any spoilers away. There's some stuff going on in that story. They don't make good use of it. That's not my argument, Hogue. My argument is it's unique, and they can also break the samurai rules by having assassin stuff in there doesn't really
No,
make
they'll
sense.
be
for the setting,
ninjas.
So
Yeah.
I'm clear, Travis. I just want to understand. You're saying that your favorite part of the Assassin's Creed is when they're out of the Animus.
No, not what I said at all.
Okay.
I said that
He
I
said he
like
likes
that
it
part.
of it, though.
I like that part.
Yeah,
I
that
think it
little
distinguishes
teaser.
the series. And in the early Assassin's Creed, I was playing for that. I was playing for the long story that was happening over multiple games, where you were kind of piecing things together, and then it fell completely apart with Assassin's Creed 3, in my
Where, like,
opinion.
Kristen
but-
Bell's on your side, and then she betrays you, and then she's on your side, and she betrays you. Like it's
Yeah.
really well told.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not, but it is. It is. Yeah, man, there's so much potential in that first Assassin's Creed.
I don't
game.
disagree with this assertion, by the way, Travis. I am with you. It's like that made a lot of sense in the first one because I think the first one actually as a game is pretty dumpy, and so you have that kind of connecting tissue that gets you to 2, which is a real advancement for the series. And then by the time you get to 3, which you've already said is terrible, you see exactly how little planning or how well they can handle that. And at that point, I think you're supposed to say, "Hey, they burned me. We're not going to focus on that anymore." And then you're walking through Ubisoft's fake video games headquarters, and then you're doing nonsense about things.
But that
and
actually had an
and-
interesting ending. Assassin's
Yeah,
Creed. You're talking
that
about
one
Black
was
Flag.
better. Yes, that one. was
That
better.
actually wasn't the worst one. I thought
That
3
one was better.
worse. Yeah, so I just my point is that it has potential. They just never really used it. And to your point, Hogue, they have sort of put that on the back burner for the last couple of games, and I think for a reason, because the fan response has been maybe less of that. But I'm sort of like more of that. Just double down, but make it better.
Yeah, but
Put more of your
that's
writing.
that's the problem. Is like I don't believe for them that they have the capability of telling that story and not sucking. So that's when people say get rid of
Probably.
it. It's like we don't believe in you anymore. It's like 343
Correct.
just stop. It's like
Correct.
that kind of conversation.
I think they would be removing the one thing that makes them unique against all of the other stupid like Ronin games that we've seen in this year. I've also reviewed a lot of them, so I feel like I'm especially burned out. Like I just reviewed a lot of these games.
Bring back
man.
Tenchu, you cowards.
Didn't
Yomi.
say that's how Sekiro started. It started as bringing Tenchu back
As
and
a
it
Tenchu?
evolved. Yeah.
Well, you
Pretty
got
sure-
past.
pretty
you
sure
evolved
that's
right
true.
Past my skill set.
It's such a good game though.
Way
Hope.
past it.
Such a good game though. You guys shouldn't doubt yourselves. Play
No,
that
Sekiro
game.
makes me sad.
I'm 100%
why?
confident in my abilities.
Sekiro's hard,
Everything
man. Are
lack
you
of that.
seriously like of all the fun games? Like Sekiro, I think is the hardest.
No, Sekiro makes
Really?
me sad.
Why does it make you sad?
Oh, because advancement takes too long. I don't have that kind of time.
Oh, wow. You know
I'm
what?
not good.
Just
I'm fully
come
willing
on-
to sit here and say I'm
come
not
over.
good.
I'll blow through that game in 3 hours, and you'll get to see it all. It'll be
I'm not
great.
sure that's the gameplay experience you think it is, Travis, but I appreciate the invite.
Maybe you haven't seen somebody play it as good as I can.
I was going to say he doesn't have that much time, and that triggered in my head. Travis, you have not asked him about his journey on Xenoblade.
Yeah, same. Chapter 4.
Let's hear Xenoblade. No
Chapter 4.
update, huh?
Chapter 4.
Excellent.
Nice.
We're in what we call a stall.
I will say though, Hogue, I have friends who now are nearing the end of the game, and they're sort of agreeing with my review more, which is very vindicating, I must say. So,
Well, look,
you'll
I'm
get there.
stalled.
You'll get there in 2027. I'm excited for that conversation.
Yeah.
All right. We got a couple super chats that just rolled in. Mr. Gio Rio in the house with the 20 euro super chat. Hi, guys. Any thoughts on, is that Scabma Snowfall?
Scabma Snowfall?
It reminds me of Kina in many ways. He's playing Nino Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch, excuse me, which released on Game Pass. Yes, which was a very nice surprise from TGS for Xbox players. God of War is going to blow everyone away.
Your lips to God's ears?
And thoughts on PS getting exclusive Hogwarts Quest and Xbox the year after. Enjoy.
Stupid.
Yeah, so I didn't touch on the Hogwarts one.
Who is a fan of that? Who is out here like, oh, I love it. That's such a good.
Well, because
feature.
what's a
It's so
Sony
good.
fan supposed to do? Yes, sirree. We get to go into that shop basement, Xbox losers.
Yeah. If you're playing Hogwarts Legacy, you're already a loser, so you can't really flex.
Whoa.
Sorry, Harry Potter's super dorky. But yeah, this is
Not even
stupid.
Harry
And
Potter.
when you see stuff like this, it's just fundraising. It's part of the community. It's part of the industry you wish you could get rid of, but you probably need it around. And nobody likes this. This is stupid.
Yeah, agreed.
It's not good.
Agreed.
Total
I don't know
slither
anything
move
about
there,
Scabma Snowfall. Do you guys?
I don't know. I've
I
never
just
heard.
looked it up. I have no idea. Still don't know. It looks cute. I guess that's the best
Looks
way I can
cute.
describe it.
Cute
It
is
looks
the word.
cute.
Okay. All right.
We're not allowed to. We're not allowed to mock cute down here, Travis. We had like a 15-minute discussion of Dreamlight Valley mushrooms last week.
Which, by the way,
I never described that game as cute, but yeah.
I installed it. I haven't played it, but I did install it based on you guys' recommendations. And I got several people tell me it's nowhere near as, I don't know the word, like nowhere near as polished or as a complete kind of, not polished. What was the word they sent me? Nowhere near, like they basically said it feels like a mobile game. It doesn't feel like a AAA game compared to what you guys were
What
saying
game?
last week.
I mean, you're
Dreamlight
bringing that
Valley.
to a party user. I can't tell you. It doesn't have any mobile monetization at present.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan, you missed it last week. We had a big conversation on
I mean,
Dreamlight
it's in
Valley.
early
I
access.
watched like the first. I didn't hear what the game he said. I watched it last week on the
Disney
way back.
Dreamlight Valley. Yeah, I mean, it is in early access. It feels like it is unpolished and unfinished, but it definitely doesn't feel like a mobile game. As somebody who has played some of those mobile games,
Mobile games can get pretty bad.
I think people
but anyway.
who say it feels like a mobile game almost universally do not play mobile games. You ever notice that? They don't, because they say it like it's a bad thing, and it's like, do you play mobile games though? And they're like, nah. Why would I play that?
It's more of used as a derogatory statement. You're right.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
it's like some mobile games are really good, and like I don't get it.
Yeah. Gio, thank you very much for the generous 20 euro super chat, man. And I like that you get your money's worth, man. You got like 5 different comments in there. I adore it.
It's good.
Thank you.
It's good.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, the character limit, you work within it, you get it done.
There you go. Rob Frawley, the second $5 super chat. Hogue. Yes, please do a virtual legality on past Internet Explorer case and current Microsoft efforts to retire Internet Explorer to Windows yet again.
Retire. I assume you mean Edge, not Internet Explorer. Yeah, there's a couple of videos that I do. You could probably search for Microsoft. You can't search for Microsoft, can you? Well, maybe I can find them. There's definitely part of this Activision deal that I have a back half that talks about the Microsoft 90s cases. Because basically everybody on the internet gets them wrong. I mean, one of the issues with it is that the Department of Justice did overreach. They got a win, and then they didn't have a win, and then they wound up settling because the Department of Justice knew they couldn't press it anymore. And in that entire time, Internet Explorer lost all of its market share. Anyway, again, dynamic. And so there's a whole lot of stuff that people think applies to that case that absolutely doesn't. But I definitely talked about it on the channel somewhere, but I have 1,090 episodes. So I'll see if I can find it.
Do you actually have over 1,000 episodes?
Well, I have 715 virtual legality propers, and I have 1,093 videos uploaded to the channel. So those are other things, including virtual legalities that are extra. They're not numbered if I don't think that they relate specifically to business or law.
I like
That's
that
a
he
lot
had
of you talking.
I like that he had the exact number and ready to go for you.
I think it's 93. It could be like 92 or 90. I mean, it's, I do 8 a week or whatever, but
yeah. All right. And then Mariana Pampa in the house with the $10 super chat. Just want to say this episode is great. Everyone hit that like button. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Yeah, this has been a doozy.
Are we even close to done with the run of show? We
Thank
can't.
you. Yes,
I gotta go.
Yes. No, we so that was State of Play, and
did you like it though? Did you play Dreamlight Valley?
Me?
He didn't say he turned it
no,
on.
I didn't play it
turn
yet.
it on.
I did install it on your guys' recommendation.
He got spooked by randos on the internet.
Guys, Genshin Impact can be played on the mobile phone. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand the.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're gonna touch on Nintendo Direct too. I want to touch on that real quick because
Better show, sure, yeah.
Yes, same day as State of Play showed a lot more, many more, I should say, games than the State of Play did. A lot of these, like I said, I'm not going to touch on the whole run, but here's kind of some of the key ones. Add anything you want to. So we got new Fire Emblem Engage kicked off the show. We've got Octopath Traveler 2 announced and coming pretty soon, February 24th of next year. Look to be another Switch exclusive, at least at launch.
Yeah, it'll be a launch one. That's what Square Enix does with those.
Yeah. Then we've got probably the best Square named game ever called Various Daylife, which just another, it looks same font, same crazy name as everything Square Enix. They're a very interesting company right now.
Traveler font and logo design. This was an Apple Arcade game that they made with Apple money a couple of years ago, and now they're releasing on consoles.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Talk about sounds like mobile.
Yeah. We got Miyamoto showed up. This was my favorite part of the show because it was the biggest kind of non-surprise for me ever. He shows up, he shows Pikmin Bloom, which is an augmented reality mobile game. And then he goes, and now for the main event. And I'm like, oh, Miyamoto, main event, something big. And he goes, Pikmin 4. And I was like, oh.
That's the main event.
Pikmin 4 is huge, man.
Yeah,
okay.
What?
Oh,
sure.
Get out of here with this nonsense.
Ames,
go back to Elden Ring.
You have no soul.
I will gladly go back to Elden Ring over Pikmin 4.
Oh, come on.
Pikmin is a lovely series.
I'm not making fun of Pikmin. I'm just saying that when Miyamoto...
Why are you picking on the men?
That's a reach there, my friend. But Miyamoto, being the legend he is, saying main event, I got really excited. Like, oh crap, we haven't heard from Miyamoto in a long time. What do we got? And he says Pikmin 4.
I always consider it lucky it's just not Star Fox 02. Okay, Pikmin 4 is a great choice.
Yes, I say Pikmin 4 is worthy of a drum roll, please.
Not from no.
And he had a delightful Pikmin shirt with the pea and the flower.
Miyamoto is a legend. He's a legend. Yeah.
He could have done better.
Have either of you guys beaten a Pikmin game?
The first one.
No.
I have not played Pikmin since Pikmin 1.
House are adamant Pikmin players.
Did you like Pikmin 1? Come on, that game was great.
I mean, I was okay with it back then. That's a long time ago now. Was that GameCube, right?
Yeah, GameCube.
Yeah.
It's a great game.
But anyway, then we got Bayonetta 3 is finally launching, as we knew, on October 28th, which is the exact same day as Modern Warfare 2, funny enough.
Poor Switch graphics in Bayonetta meet in the middle on that trailer, and it's like, oh damn, it's a Switch game. I forgot.
Yeah, the Switch. I mean, it was already showing its age back when it launched, but
do you like anime?
It's really showing its
age now. But that trailer is so much like, oh god, you're trying to put so much on screen.
Guys, it's a mobile game.
Travis is stuck on this. He's stuck on it.
All Switch games are mobile games.
And then, of course, we got Legend of Zelda, the Breath of the Wild sequel, which is going to be called Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, you're going with Tears?
Is it Tears?
No, it's Tears. Of course it's Tears.
Oh.
But, I mean, like, you've got pieces of the kingdom ripped up and floating.
It's a homophone.
Tears of the Kingdom.
It could be either. Yeah.
Okay. God. That's coming May 12th. 2023. We got a little teaser for it, but not a whole lot of.
Do we have
of
any
info
notion
yet.
of why they held on to this name for so long? I thought it was going to be like Legend of Zelda. Yes, you play as Zelda. Like, I didn't know what the hell the title was going to be. Why would you hide it for years?
It's actually going to be Legend of Zelda Like a Dragon, I think, is what they were going for.
The only thing I thought was interesting about that trailer really at all was that the logo behind the Legend of Zelda is like an Ouroboros. And it's like, okay, are we linking to the past? I mean, are we doing some fun stuff with this?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we're going to see. But at least we have a date for it. It's probably, I was trying to think of any release date we have into the second quarter of next year. I don't remember another game having a major game having a release date this far out, but May 12th is it. So we'll see. I hope that it's better than Breath of the Wild.
May 12th is said to be it.
For now. Correct. By the way, I forgot to ask you still on the Ragnarok gets delayed train?
No, actually, I think that one on this state of play, I'll be fully honest with you. I was actually expecting the, and because we're so hard at work at this, we're very sorry to do this, but it'll be, January 23rd or whatever. So no, I think that was their last exit point. So I will rescind and declare my wrongness. I believe it is coming out in November. I'm not guaranteeing polish. We'll see.
I don't think there's any way they release God of War sequel. Literally Spider-Man is probably their top, but beloved IP unpolished.
I don't think it matters if you're trying to hit a window. They're not magicians.
All true.
That's another word that has two meanings depending on how you pronounce it.
They're also not CD Projekt Red. So
you didn't get a lot of sleep last night, did you?
No, isn't it interesting that Cyberpunk didn't have polish, but it did have Polish? Anyway, let's move on.
I don't want to hear a word about anything I say after that.
I can't do this. No. Oh man. Anything else from the Nintendo Direct jump out to you? How excited are you for Tears of the Kingdom?
Not as much as Octopath Traveler 2.
Not as much as Pikmin 4.
Not as much as Fire Emblem.
Boom! Fire Emblem. You want to talk about weird vibes? Like that Fire Emblem name and like the pulling character. This is funny to me, as maybe it's an internal thing, but you start pulling characters from other series, and my brain is immediately like, "Oh, you don't believe in this story you're telling," and then you give it like this weird, I don't know, YouTube Korean singer kind of looking person as your main character, and I'm like, this feels like a non-Fire Emblem. Like, am I to take Engage to mean it's not mainline? Is this Gaiden? Like, what is this game? Do we know?
I'm just excited they're going back to the.
I don't know.
To the combat when they.
They don't use numbers anymore for Fire Emblem, right? So Engage can be its own name. It also means nothing. It sounds like a freaking energy drink.
Yeah.
To me, it looks like they're pulling from all the different games, obviously, with all the different characters and the rings. Maybe I have no idea exactly.
Yeah, but maybe I've just been burned too much. But it reminds me of like Dissidia. It's like, okay, so it's going to be garbage, and you're going to get to see Celis and Locke. I mean, it's like it's.
Yeah, I was trying to see if I could find any info on it real quick while you were talking.
There's not a whole lot.
For whatever reason, watching this, my instinct was like, oh, it's somehow it's side story, or look, we're gonna grab all the Fire Emblem characters from everywhere, like the Fire Emblem Warriors or something like that. So I don't know. I did not like the hair in the eyes.
Very generic description. Use hero summoning strategies to defeat an ancient threat in a brand new Fire Emblem game. Summon valiant heroes like Marth and Celica, alongside a new cast of characters, and engage in turn-based tactical combat against a great new evil. It launches on January 20th. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
That might make me turn my Switch back on, man.
Fair enough.
Fire Emblem.
I mean, Mario and Rabbids, I'm more excited about on tactics side. So
yes, me too. And then, of course, the last thing that became another just hilarious thing this week was GoldenEye finally got revealed, even though we've known about it for like 2 years. Supposedly, the build of the game that is on the Xbox and coming to Game Pass is different than the one coming to the Switch.
It has no online.
And the Xbox version has no online play. Which
I bet you had a field day with this one on your channel, Hogue.
I did a whole video. Well, because I think a lot of the reporters were reporting on it wrong, and I don't blame them because it was all confused among like what these two said at the same time, because Xbox goes out with its press release immediately as it gets announced on the Nintendo Direct. And it's like, okay, so if I'm parsing this correctly, these are two different games. Like they're trying not to say that exactly, but like there's references to their 1997 game, and like this is two different.
Yeah, it's two different game. Like it's
I think Nintendo wanted to make GoldenEye and Xbox wanted to make GoldenEye, and some sort of dark alchemic agreement was made that they could both release their versions of it, because Xbox tried to release their version as part of the Rare Replay. It was supposed to be in there. We know that from leaks and from data mining, and
it's been around for a while.
I've also played a version of it because it leaked. Somebody just put the game out there in its entirety a while ago. I think presumably to kind of force the world to see it, and then maybe get players to put pressure on companies to put it out there. But I'm glad it's happening. I don't think GoldenEye is a very good game. I think people are going to be very disappointed by what they thought was a good shooter when it was actually just the best shooter on a Nintendo console. But I'm excited that it exists and it's going to be back out there. But I think people are going to be disappointed, Hogue. I really do.
Be that graphic, Ains.
Yeah. I said before Hogue goes, I said the exact same thing, Travis. I said this game was amazing when it released 25 years ago.
I don't think it was.
It was. It was.
I don't think it was amazing when it released.
It was
5 years ago. I was a kid when it came out. I was the target audience. Hogue is leaving. He has to go now. I don't like. I mean, I guess I played shooters on PC, so like I knew what.
You said you were a kid, so obviously your opinion was ill-informed at the time. So let's educate you on.
Wasn't
how
it made
good
for
GoldenEye
Halo is built off of concepts that GoldenEye helped originate to bring FPSs to consoles.
Travis, he couldn't hold back.
Everything that you freaking know about first-person shooters goes through that evolutionary.
It doesn't make it a good game.
Yeah,
it could be
no,
the
it doesn't make it a
1.0,
good
and the
game.
1.0 could be bad.
It's a good game. People did not have a psychotic mass delusion when GoldenEye was a very popular game. That is not what happened, right? So,
I mean, most people can be wrong. I just feel like the reason most people are often wrong.
Fun.
Yeah. So all I'm saying is that I think a lot of people, they thought GoldenEye was better than it was because it was the first shooter they got to play on the console that they owned, which was the Nintendo console. But even contextualized in the time period it came out, it wasn't a fantastic shooter.
You're wrong. For the time period it came out, you're dead wrong.
No, dude, there were so many.
This is just a lack of seasoning.
No, this was my era. I came up in this era, but there were better shooters on PC at this time.
There might have been better shooters on PC, but that doesn't detract from how good GoldenEye was at the time.
That's my point, is that I think people think it was good because they had never played a shooter before.
No, I have. I played them all. GoldenEye was very good.
Really?
Come on.
Really?
I had played the first-person shooters. I had played Doom. I had played Wolfenstein. I had played Dark Forces. I was fully immersed in first-person shooters. GoldenEye presented something different, something approachable, and something available on consoles that was vastly more fun than a number of those. In PC land. It was something different. And yes, it's the exact evolutionary parent of everything we ultimately wound up getting. They solved a lot of those issues.
I will agree with you. It's a progenitor that it got us to console shooters. It got us Perfect Dark, which I think is better.
Perfect Dark is not better than GoldenEye, and Rare knows that.
It is. I think it is.
Well, you're wrong.
And I think that just because you started something doesn't mean that you're a good example of it. So that's me.
No, it's okay. I'm going to chalk this up to a lack of seasoning.
You can't just do that. It's such a, you know what I mean? Like,
I can do it, and I did.
So you just take your mic off of your.
What I started to agree with you before you went complete tangent, saying it was never a good game, and you're flat out wrong about that.
I don't want to say it's not a good game. I don't think it was as high up there as people think.
That's not what you said a minute ago.
Like a 7 out of 10. To me, it's like a 7 out of 10.
I was saying that we have since moved on substantially from GoldenEye, and going back to it now is not going to be the glorious moment I think a lot of people think it is.
No.
It's just interesting.
But
some
in its
games
time,
age really well. You could play them years later and they still feel good, and some games you can't. I wonder if there's something to that in terms of quality.
Yeah, go play Half-Life, Travis.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people still do. I can still play Halo Combat Evolved. How old is that game? That game feels great on original hardware.
Feels great. if you play it now, you notice some shortcomings, and I'm
Well, of
about
course
as
you
big of
do.
a Halo stan as there is.
But dude, come on, not like GoldenEye. GoldenEye
No, not
is
like GoldenEye. It's far in front of GoldenEye. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Hmm.
It's a 7 out of 10. People got starry-eyed because it was on a Nintendo console. That's what I think.
Yes. Everyone had a complete mass delusion for what wasn't even a very popular James Bond movie, because it was the first time they ever played anything, because there's no other explanation for people having fun with it. Makes a lot of sense.
Hey, I'm a Turok stan myself, so.
Well, Turok was
Turok.
freaking out as a contemporary. This is what we're getting the bullshit from Travis on. It's the only shooter they had available to them. BS, man.
I mean, the game literally
only
changed
decent
relationships, that I had with friends, and especially my brother, because we don't talk anymore.
That's right.
And that was
Probably played as
long
Odd
time
Job.
ago. Exactly.
Not
Right.
player.
It was a proximity mine, blowout is basically all it was with him. So I was just now we were on, very limited speaking terms. And that probably stems from GoldenEye. It was a masterpiece.
Because he played as the hat throwing guy. What's his name?
Yeah, Odd Job.
Odd Job.
Game,
Yeah.
Odd Job.
Can't play
He's
Odd
not
Job.
here.
That's rude.
All right, boys, let's go ahead and wrap this crazy episode up. It's been quite hilarious getting everyone back together this week. Chat, you've been awesome today. Thank you for hanging out with us. We're going to go ahead and close out. Remember that if you enjoy these episodes, have fun with us. Join us on Sunday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern, if possible. Otherwise, we always love seeing your comments and likes and everything else after the show. So thank you very much. Travis, let's start with you this week, man. What you got going on?
I got lots going on, man. Check out all of my coverage of TGS, which should be live now. I think all the embargoes are up, so I can talk about all the stuff I played and showed you.
Nice.
Yeah. Also did some Monster Hunter coverage for Monster Hunter Rise on the Switch. Did some Mega Man Battle Network coverage. The Legacy Collection that's also coming to Switch, is it? No, Xbox. I put it on Xbox.
You really did do Capcom.
Yeah, I mean, I went to their HQ and just played all their games, so I covered a bunch
Nice.
of their stuff. And then my review of Grounded should be out sometime soon. This game is long, guys. I don't know if I'm gonna make the embargo, but I'm gonna do my best. I've got about 50 hours in it in like 4 days, so I've been playing a lot of it. I'm gonna play it right after this. Follow me on Twitter if you care about that. If you like Destiny, you can watch me on The Last Word every Thursday. And thanks for tuning in and hearing all of my hot takes. Until next week.
Sorry, I was reading more GoldenEye comments as you said that. Hogue.
That's me. Yes.
All right.
No,
I,
I'm doing,
I hear
virtual
you're
guys.
doing some videos once in a while.
Yeah, no, I'm doing virtual guys. We'll have a hangouts and headlines about something tomorrow. We haven't picked out that yet. We've got Lawyers and Dragons on Saturdays. As I mentioned at the top of this video, we've got a store open now. So if you like any of that stuff, or if you just want to get one of my daughter's dinosaur stickers, we appreciate anything. My daughter's amazing. Had a lot of fun with this. You guys are incorrigible sometimes, but I have fun on these. So yeah, check those things out if you feel like it. If you don't, don't check them out. But negative reviews are okay too. All right, everybody.
And on Season Gaming, give us some love on the audio side. Like I said, if you're checking us out over there, we love hearing from you as well. This week we're gonna have articles on a number of things, Modern Warfare 2 related, a review, as well as there's a band out there that makes songs, a metal band that makes songs about video games, which we are doing an interview with, I believe tomorrow. So we'll look for that this week as well. The video of this Ghost of Tsushima Jin statue will be up this week as well, so just keep an eye out. And other than that, we've always got new stuff coming. So thank you as all for hanging out with us here at the Bitcast, your weekly gaming show covering all things Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, and PC with industry, technical, and legal. I almost said bias. I got to the last word and screwed it up. But anyway, you know who we are. Thank you for hanging out with us.
We will stuff.
We will see you next Sunday. Oh no, hold on. We got a super chat literally as I'm closing from Gio Rio. Gio Rio with the last second super chat.
The other show.
€5 super chat. Cast Co-op and the Halo conversation were also very nice. Gio, thank you so much, man. Yes, I even forgot to shout those out. So me, Joe, and Luke got back together, Cast Co-op, for the first time in a month this week. That's up on the channel. And I also brought together 4 other guys with myself, so a 5-person panel on Halo Infinite, Bonnie Ross leaving 343, and the future of Infinite. And I brought together 5 people who know Halo Infinite and Halo in general, inside and out. I checked, and we have 3,000 combined hours in Halo Infinite, the 5 of us. So we talked a lot about that. That was a over 2-hour conversation as well. So if you're invested in Halo at all, you can check that out as well. Thank you, Gio. Thank you, everyone. We are now seriously leaving. We will see you next Sunday. Peace.
Seriously.